it's not hard because I read one chapter a week. I read it, as it comes out. But like, I understand people who need to like, get caught up. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I know, but anyway, quiet on the set, please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's just anyway. I
Sorry,
guess
son.
I guess that counts as an introduction. So hi, hello. I hope you're all having a good evening. And if you're new here, welcome to the Gospel Truth. Yes, it's named like the Disney song. Just don't tell anybody. I can't
gonna
have
tell
their lawyers at
everybody.
my doorstep. I really need a tagline for this series though. Besides
Ooh, I gotta
yes,
think
like the
about
Disney song.
it.
But anyway, if you're new here, what we do here is basically me and a bunch of other individuals discuss a bunch of topics in nerd culture, be it games, movies, weeb stuff, all that good jazz.
Love it.
But anyway, I'm preacher or preacher of your God if you want to be specific. I do variety and all that other stuff. I do this podcast on a monthly basis, and I'm trying to always improve on it and stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm also not good with introductions, but anyway, would you all like to introduce yourselves?
I'll let Huggable go first.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Huggable Hipster, aka Ariel, because that's my real name, and I am a variety gamer on YouTube. But I also analyze games from a journalistic and psychological perspective, and I'm also a full-time video editor who loves coffee. So, yay!
Yeah, if you need stuff edited, hit her up.
Oh, I have. I've hired her multiple times to get me B-roll.
Yes.
She's awesome.
But yeah,
Oh, thank you.
she's hipster here's basically been one of my other regulars. I have one more, but he's running a little late. Hopefully he shows, but he'll be here in spirit if he's not. But no, she's a delight. But we also have a new guest.
Aw.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Me? Oh yeah, sure, okay.
No, it's the guy next to you.
Well, hey, look, man. I don't want to step on it. Hi, my name's Mark. You can find me at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mark_plays or on YouTube at Mark Plays without the underscore. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Pokemon stuff. I'm really super into Pokemon lately. I help people get started in the competitive scene. I help give out competitive Pokemon for raids and things like that, such as like a 6IV did or whatever. I also want to teach people on how to play competitively and how to think with their brain instead of just by clicking a move and doing that, because that's not very smart. Either way,
brain work in Pokemon.
brain work. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
But I'm also a huge game enthusiast. I love video games. I've been playing since I was a kid. The first video game I ever played was Duke Nukem with my dad, which is funny because you have a picture of that on your stream, so I thought that was topical.
Oh yeah, no, I try to have like a little image based on the big topic of the session, and I couldn't think of anything more fitting than that.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, I love video games. I love talking about them. I love you looking deeper and seeing the effects that video games can have on people. But lately, it's been a lot of Pokemon. So if you like Pokemon stuff, I'm someone you could talk to about that.
Yeah, but yes, we are joined by these two. You can check them out there. They're both amazing people. I've been in both their streams and watched a couple of their videos each when I have time. So take my word for it, if that means anything.
Well,
Aw.
thank you.
And then
Appreciate that, dude.
I guess since he's not here, my fourth guest is a mutual friend of mine. We've been friends for actually a few years now, thinking about it. It's funny how time's passed. I just spoke to him earlier today too. But he's probably getting out of class right now. I don't know. But if he shows up, he's a nice guy too. He's a film nerd. So something to balance out all the game stuff. But anyway, getting right into it. So we basically start the podcast the same every month, just like what kind of games y'all been playing, anything new. That goes for the guests and the chat. Like, full disclaimer is like, those of you in the chat, please feel free to take part. Like, ask questions, be involved, don't be shy. We're all accepting here, even if you like Fortnite. Don't
Except
judge.
if you like Fortnite.
I can't do that.
I don't like Fortnite, but I do like their marketing strategies because those are on point.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'll give Epic Games is they know how to market their stuff. But I
I'll
just
admit, I paid attention to the black hole. I paid
yeah, it's
attention.
like only Epic could get
Same.
people to stare at a black screen for 2 days straight. Why is Mark
So
so sexy? It's the facial hair. I don't know.
It's actually it's Maybelline, believe it or not.
I,
maybe it's maybe.
Well, in this case, I'm telling you, it is. It's the Maybelline.
God, I wish I had a facial hair. But anyway, I guess I'll start things off. So honestly, I haven't been playing anything new. January is just kind of that dry month every year as far as games are concerned. I did start another playthrough of Doom for like the 6th time.
I still need to finish Doom.
Doom 2016
I
is
still need to start it.
Doom 2016 is easily one of the greatest FPSs I've ever played. It's just fantastic. It's non-stop balls to the wall gore and guts, and I love it.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. Plays like butter.
Yes.
It really does, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I played the demo version of it, and when I played the demo, it just took me back to my childhood because I played the originals when I was younger, and I'm just like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
feel you on
I'd
that.
have the original on my Switch, but Bethesda can't do anything right. Because you need
Oof.
a Bethesda account to play Doom on your Switch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so dumb.
That's why it sucks. Like I could play Doom on my toaster. Why would I need an internet access to play Doom anywhere else?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But no, I've basically started a new playthrough for that because I cannot wait for Eternal in March. I'm definitely getting that day one and praying to God Bethesda doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. March is looking like a freaking stacked month. I was gonna ask how you were
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
about Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal's on the top of my games I need to buy list. It's right. It's basically Doom, Ori 2, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and then Last of Us.
Ooh,
And then
yeah.
that's just all that I know about. It's like there's other stuff like there's no word on the Cuphead DLC. They said that's supposed to be coming out this year. That new
Yeah.
Battletoads.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I know that they just added Cuphead DLC to Smash Bros. I know we're gonna talk about that later, but
Yeah.
I thought that was like
Steal-
super interesting. I'm actually really excited about that.
It's funny because the DLC costumes keep stealing the spotlight off the actual characters.
I know, yeah, no kidding.
Terry Bogard, that's just Ken with the hat.
I mean, you're not half wrong.
I can't blame people for not like knowing SNK stuff because it's not really popular here in North America. It's more popular in like South America and Mexico and stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd never
See, it's
understood
funny.
that.
Because I've never played like the entire game of Cuphead. I've only played at it like for little bits and parts of it, but from what I played, it's an absolutely wonderful game.
I highly recommend it. Just don't let the difficulty turn you off.
Yeah.
If anything,
yeah.
it just inspires me to play it more.
Yeah, I get
did,
that.
I did 200% the game just to see if I could.
Really?
Yeah, it was hard, but I loved every
Wow.
second of it. I
Wow,
had to
that's
I had to
impressive.
S rank all the bosses, all of them.
Dang.
And I'll be
Jeez.
and I'll be
dedication.
S ranking all the new bosses once they come out.
Rest in peace to your controller.
Ah, it's fine. But have y'all been playing anything new?
I've been actually just wrapped up the second video of the day, and it's a new playthrough I'm doing for Neverending Nightmares. It's a game on Steam, and it was actually gifted to me by one of the community members, and
Nice.
it's absolutely wonderful so far. It reminds me of Fran Bow, and the
Ooh.
just the art style, the way that everything is done, like control wise and everything, very seamless so far. It has a slow start, but I feel like every game that has, especially like horror games that have a slow start, I feel like are really, really good in the long run, honestly.
Ah,
So
slow starts are bad for me because I have a terrible attention span.
Explains why you're not into One Piece.
You-
oh,
Just because my favorite anime is only like 26 episodes long doesn't mean I can't do it. I just have my limits.
Well, no, look, hey, I get that. I'll level with you. My favorite anime is Fooly Cooly. That, at least the first season. I haven't seen seasons 2 and 3, but season 1 is 6
No,
episodes. That's the whole thing.
Jules would like you a lot. That's his favorite too.
It's so good. It's amazing. It's
I've never
weird
seen-
and it's wacky and I watched it in 5th grade, so it was like Naota's age, so like it resonated with me on like a personal level.
I watched it in 5th grade and I just didn't understand it.
I didn't
I
either,
had to
but like
watch
some
it like 3 times before it clicked. It's like, oh, this is a coming of age story.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get it till I was an adult, but like even then, I think subconsciously I'm like, I can relate to Naota.
Fair enough. My favorite anime is Trigun, so like not
Ooh,
much
classic.
relatable there, but Trigun's probably the shining staple of how you make an anime where it's like I literally don't hate any one of the characters at all.
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna be the awkward being over here that just likes fairy tale.
I want to watch Fairy Tail. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. It's so funny. Like it's cringeworthy in the beginning because you see some of the characters and you're just like, oh, why'd they do that? Why'd they do that?
I
But
hear
then
it's
you,
really fan servicey.
I'm
It
the opposite
kind of.
because I'll just tell people that Fairy Tail's basically budget Naruto, and I don't even
Oh
like
my gosh.
Naruto
Listen.
that much.
listen here, okay? I disagree. All right, but that's okay.
Sorry, just like I have a love-hate relationship with shonen shows.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
At least it's not Inuyasha.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh god, my wife loves Inuyasha.
Oh.
We all have our.
I
we all have
tried.
our. It's all about compromise.
I tried watching Inuyasha and I tried to get through the first episode and I'm just like, this is not working.
I never got super into it.
I finished the entirety of it, and I kind of wish I could take that away.
Oh no.
Just like it was more out of obligation. But yeah, no.
That's how I feel about reading a book. Like I feel like I got it, so I have to read it now.
I
Yeah, I'm not a reader myself.
me neither. But anyway, yeah, January's just been kind of dry. Like I've been trying to
Yeah.
get through my backlog. That's been limited success. I still need to finish Celeste, but my controller sucks. Need a new one.
Yeah.
Again.
Oof.
I don't know why.
Gosh.
Why can't PCs just accept PS4 controllers without outside software? Freaking
Yeah.
Microsoft. Ugh.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's kind of silly.
But anyway, I guess we can get to the first real topic then. So Pokemon. Well, has everyone here watched the direct?
Yeah, of course.
I
made
haven't
a
had time to
video
watch
about
it.
my
Rip.
thoughts on the DLC.
I mean, it's only 20 minutes, but yeah, basically Sword and Shield are getting expansion packs, and you know,
Yeah.
being that it's Sword and Shield, people are mad, cause always.
Yeah.
I don't get why.
So like,
I can
I
maybe.
was, if I may, I was a little miffed about it at first, but then I watched it a second time, and then I remembered that I was saying that they'd probably do DLC for Gen 8 instead of just releasing an entirely new game. Because I
Yeah.
forgot that I said that, because I was literally telling people, it's like, it's 2019. I'm pretty sure they're going to go the DLC route eventually, and this would probably be the best time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes sense, but the thing is that Game Freak seems to be trapped in like the 90s. You know, like we've been able to do DLC for, you know, over a decade now, right? And we had Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then literally less than a year later we had Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon,
Yeah,
which
this.
by all means should have been a DLC, but Game Freak can't even patch a game. So I think
No.
anyone
Yeah,
expecting
no.
DLC, honestly, I think that there was no way to see that coming, because Game Freak doesn't even patch their games. The fact that they would not only patch their game but add more to it and then not sell it back to you in the same game for another $60, I think is completely unexpected.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like throughout all the discourse, I watched a lot of videos and saw a lot of arguments on it, and I came to the realization that Pokemon's marketing has actually always been trash, because they've basically just
Yeah.
sold us the same game with a few new bells and whistles since the beginning.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I love my Crystal and my Emerald, but even I can say that it's basically just the same game with a few new things. Like
No, you're totally right. You're
Yeah.
totally right,
Like,
and that's been a huge
Crystal,
complaint
Crystal
for a
literally
long
adds
time.
nothing. It's just you can find different Pokemon. You can't get
Yeah.
them a Reap in the beginning, so it's 0 out of 10. I'm kidding. Just like
You see,
that always
with a lot
throws
of the
me off.
stuff with a lot of the stuff with Pokemon from like okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I've only ever paid attention to like the first 3 gens of Pokemon because after that I was just like I can't like I mean like some of the Pokemon now are
Yeah.
good, but I just never really
You're,
paid attention to it.
you're like the
And
majority.
yeah, yeah, and it really is. It's true. I hear you there.
Tommy of Blood, thanks for following, by the way.
And one thing that I found is like, okay, I look at things from like a game dev perspective. Mark knows this. Actually, I mentioned it in his chat one time of where I saw so many different bugs and things wrong within the game that I was like, okay, either they're not having patches or they're too lazy to do so because you have an amazing system here. You have an amazing story, and I just think it deserves better.
Pokemon has a story.
No, I agree. So you're totally right on that, and I think it's a little of both. I think one, if Game Freak is listening, please don't bar me from being sponsored in the future. But I think Game Freak number one is they're kind of inept at programming. They don't really know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
they have for the biggest media franchise on the planet, they only have like an office of like 150 people. And
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
making games that are supposed to be AAA, you know, like system sellers, like they need to hire more people because they obviously don't have the talent they need to make these games anymore, especially on a yearly schedule.
Plus, you know,
And then
after this,
number two,
the morale's kind of
the reason,
low. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, no, 150 people is nothing, especially for a franchise this big.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, like, I think even like No Man's Sky, like right now they have like 200 employees or something like that.
Yeah.
Neat.
I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. I haven't looked, but I know they're also a very small studio and they're bigger than Game Freak.
Yeah,
But anyway, the second point I wanted to make, yeah, well, we can talk about No Man's Sky another time. But the second point I wanted to make is that Game Freak has always banked on the fact that they could just release an updated game a year later, right? And that's why historically they haven't done patches for anything that isn't game breaking. Is because they figure, all right, well, we'll just fix it in the next year's release, and then people will buy it again. And we can, why release a patch when we can just sell the game again? That's better. So now that they're doing DLC, it does honestly start up the discussion like, will they be patching the game? Will they be fixing all these den and raid exploits? And if they do, is my Twitch channel dead?
Nah, it's
Yeah.
not dead because you can just become a VGC trainer. It'll be fun. The meta totally won't be ruined with all the old kings coming back from the grave.
Oh no, Garchomp won't do anything to the meta. Not at all.
No.
Yeah,
And the thing that really
bring
kind of
back Garchomp, Volcarona, all the legendaries, no problem.
All right, real talk. I love Volcarona though. I'm really excited about
No,
that.
I mean I like Volcarona too, but I could live without Landorus in my game again, especially if he gets his Therian form. That's just gonna be a mess.
You know what's interesting though is that anytime that I see a Pokemon game, even if it's new, it reminds me of the 90s when I used to play them on my Game Boy Color, except with tiny bit better
Yeah,
graphics.
nostalgia is how they get you. It's what they've been banking on for. God, Pokemon's like as old as I am. God,
Yeah.
where is the time?
Pokemon's
gone?
been around since like what, 97?
96, which is the year
96.
I was born. So it is literally
feel
I am
old
literally as old
now.
as this franchise.
Yeah.
I was born in 92. Oof.
Aren't,
Hey,
aren't
same here.
people saying a recent game called Temp Tam is better than Pokemon? Oh, we'll be getting to that. That's actually the
Yeah, we'll
next
be getting to-
topic.
Yeah. But just quick fun fact because I love One Piece. One Piece came out in 97 and Pokemon came out in 96. So what's your excuse?
One Piece copy of Pokemon. It's new,
No,
new
that's
conspiracy.
Digimon, okay? That's Digimon.
Oh man, that's a whole other can of worms.
If we want to segue, I'm gonna say that Temtem copied Pokemon. I think Digimon, they got in on the whole like monster collecting like craze, but I think Digimon is different enough to still be like, all right, they tried. I kind of honestly like without playing Temtem, I've done a little bit of research and it looks like they almost directly ripped mechanics right out of Pokemon.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I guess that is a good segue. So for those of you that don't know, there's a new early access game out called Tem Tem, and it's basically the very definition of not Pokemon. Like,
Yeah.
it plays just about like any other Pokemon game would, except it's an MMO, surprisingly, which, people have been screaming for a Pokemon MMO for forever.
Well, one thing I noticed actually, by the way, about Temtem is that on the cover of like the main advertisements, you see a character that looks exactly like Umbreon.
But
Oh
yeah,
jeez.
no. I thought
Like,
I thought about
crap.
buying Temp Time in all honesty, but it's like you say the words early access to me, and I just start like backing away slowly. I've made too many mistakes with early access games, and now I'm just kind of hesitant overall. But I mean,
Yeah, I feel you on
from
that.
what I've seen, it looks nice. Like it plays about just as well as a Pokemon game would, and the fact that it's an MMO could bring a lot of possibilities, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's
I
just
mean,
the
it
the
looks
So
the
cute.
problem comes on. It's like you're essentially trying to challenge the biggest media franchise in history.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
that all comes that all comes with a mess of problems.
yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest problem for me is, like you said, early access, but then on top of that, it's $35.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
or
That is really steep for early
yeah, no,
access.
believe me, I paid $30 for PUBG, and now it's just rotting in my library, and it's still an unfinished game. Think about
Yeah,
that.
It's
Yes.
just unbelievable because it's like there are all these different kinds of games, including Temtem that's coming out that look adorable and they look like really good playable games. But when you see like kind of where they're taking their inspiration from, I just feel like the straight up copying
But yeah, I mean
some of the things from
it's
Pokemon.
kind of hard to, but at the same time they kind of have to, cuz like I kind of said in the
yeah,
chat, like Nintendo is kind of harsh when it comes to like fan games and stuff, cuz
yeah,
people have tried to make their own Pokemon MMO and stuff like that, and that has been met with very harsh reception. But
yeah. Even like,
if it's anything remotely related to their franchise, Nintendo will be all over it.
yeah.
Rip A2MR,
Yeah, I was
AM2R, I
just gonna
mean.
mention,
Yeah.
the whole, Metroid 2 remakes. There were a ton of those floating around, and
But
Nintendo keeps
but
slapping them down.
to be fair, I can give them at least a little bit of credit. They did announce Samus Returns like a week after they shut that down.
That's true. They had a vested interest because they were making a remake. So of course, that much is fair. If they're actively making a remake and they're fan people making like, no, I made my own remake of this game,
Yeah,
then
it's like
Nintendo,
that.
I think, has a right to be like,
They have
no,
a
no, no,
slight
we're
excuse with
doing
that.
that. Stop.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
it's like, because I've played a few Pokemon ROM hacks and they've all been fantastic.
Oh
I
yeah. I've only
personally
played one. I think it was Uranium, but it was really, really grind heavy, and honestly, I hated it.
I personally recommend Crystal Clear.
That's what I've been
It's
hearing.
basically Pokemon Crystal, except it's open world and just overall improvements. Like Kanto's as big as it was in the first game. You can catch all 252 Pokemon. You have a much larger choice of starters, and you can basically just go anywhere whenever you want. Like you could
Yeah,
go straight up to Blackthorn for your first gym if you wanted.
that'd be
I
dope.
wouldn't recommend it.
That'd be really
I
cool.
wouldn't recommend it at all. She only has a Dratini and a Horsey, but the Dratini knows Dragon Rage, which is practically lethal when you're only like level 12.
Yeah. Still, I'll have to check it out. I've been very distracted with,
Other
raids and
things.
stuff, and trying to get into the competitive scene and trying to, help people get involved in the scene and,
Yeah,
things like
no,
that. So I
I
haven't.
still don't have my team built in game. I've been relying on Showdown mainly for theory
Yeah.
testing and stuff.
I personally am not a big fan of Showdown just because, like, it's too fast. I feel like when I'm playing that fast, I make much worse decisions versus when I'm actually in game, it forces me to slow down and, like, take the steps to select every single, step, and I have to think about what I'm doing.
I
And
guess
I feel like I play much better in game than I do on Showdown.
And I guess with my previous competitive experience, I've just learned to think faster when it comes to that. Making those hard reads and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. And then another thing I can give Tem Tem props for, their team is really on top of things. Like when the game first dropped, they were on the ball when it came to like server issues, like actually moderating the community for once. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
See, that's
I
a
mean,
plus.
yeah,
You don't
they
really
just
see that too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they
sadly.
just did their, their early access launch, and I know there were a lot of issues when they launched it, but they were like on top of it, like fixing the problems like within an hour, which is
Wow.
to me that's impressive, you know.
But I mean, I don't. It's like people are saying that Temtem's gonna kill Pokemon, and my answer to that is no, it won't.
Oh hell no.
Pokemon's like
Not at all.
literally the biggest thing ever. So like,
Pokemon's too big to fail. I know I sound like, The 1%,
because
whatever,
because it
99
is.
percenters.
It's not.
I mean, but you're right. It is too big to
True.
fail. It's never gonna go away
What?
until Game Freak is like, we don't want to make Pokemon games anymore. Which, let's be honest, they kind of said that with Sword and Shield. But the point is that Pokemon's not going anywhere until it stops making money, and
it's
that
never
is not
gonna
happening
stop making
anytime
money.
soon.
But
Exactly.
no, it's like in the same vein, I feel like competition is good. I feel like everything needs a little bit of competition because it forces you to get your shit together. Like, it's not going to get as big as Pokemon, but if it gets like a decent amount of attention, it might start making people raise some eyebrows, or might make some important people raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with what Laza said in chat. Tem Tem is going to fill a niche that Pokemon doesn't fill, but it's never going to compete on the same level as Pokemon. I 100% agree with that, Laza.
It's like, I do have good feelings about it, but it needs a bit more ironing out before I decide to shell $35, or it goes on sale. If it goes on sale, I might pick it up, but I doubt that'll happen anytime soon. Yeah.
For me, the thing that I'm not super sold on Tem Tem about yet is, like, I'm really, really big on, like, creature designs. I want to know that, the Tem Tem in the game are, like, as charming or almost, like, half as charming as Pokemon. And so far, I just haven't seen that.
I'd say it's about the same as Pokemon. Like, you have your cool designs and then you have your bad designs. Because spoiler warning, Pokemon designs have kind of always been shit. Or at least some of them have.
I totally agree.
Diglett is literally my big toe if I painted a face on it. Not even kidding.
Oh my god. No, I mean, you're right. And look, I get a lot of flack for this, but I honestly think that Gen 1 was like the worst generation.
Oh yeah.
And, also, quick plug for myself. I made videos on my thoughts on literally every single Pokemon. Gen 1 through 3 are on my YouTube. Okay, end of my plug.
Oh yeah, there's a Pokemon based on a garbage bag. Like I said, every generation has its stinkers. Like even Gen 1. Like this is the Gen 1 actually has the laziest Pokemon design ever.
Yes, absolutely.
And Pew just mentioned it. It's Voltorb. It's literally a Pokeball with some googly eyes strapped to it.
And then, but then it evolves into an upside-down Pokeball that's slightly bigger.
10 out of 10 creature design.
Take that, game designers.
You can't get better than that. You just can't.
I'm holding my tongue so much right now.
But no, like, all the original 151 are iconic, but, like, not all of them are winners. Even I can see that.
You can't say that. You can't say that Mew isn't adorable.
I mean, no, it is. Mew is like one of the good ones in Gen 1.
I mean, I prefer Mewtwo, but Mew is plenty good.
I like Mewtwo as well. I think they're almost like two sides of the same coin.
Because they are.
You see, the thing is that, like, for me, it's more of a nostalgic thing. I'm totally admit that, because whenever I started playing it, I was like, what, 7 or 8 years old? Yeah, and I was just like, oh, these are so cute, little Squirtle and everything like that. And the first Pokemon that I even remember beating, actually my mom, because she used to play the games too, beating her hands at was a Clefairy. And I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's so pretty. And I think it's just the nostalgia that makes me think that they're more awesome, because I'm just that one person that's like, hey, first gen is awesome. Well, there are a lot of people that think, no, first gen sucks.
Well, I mean, no, Ariel, I'm right there with you. Like, I started with Red and Blue just like you, and I played, I played every Pokemon game as it came out. And I had a lot of nostalgia for Gen 3. And I just made that video, and it turns out that, as a whole, the Pokemon Generation 3 are not as great as I remember. So, but the thing is, like, I'm willing to challenge that nostalgia. Yeah. And, if you want to hold on to your nostalgia like you're saying you are, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do that. I just think, like, I want to go back and I want to challenge that, because as nice as nostalgia is, I think, recognizing things for what they are is important, too.
I'm still stuck in my nostalgia. Second gen, best gen. This hasn't been topped for me yet. But to be fair,
I actually love Gen 2.
Has the most bang for your buck.
I agree.
It's probably the most content we've gotten, with Gen 5 being a close second, which is my second favorite generation, because Black and White literally made me not want to quit the franchise. I was honestly going to be done after Platinum.
I'll admit, I kind of quit for a little bit after Black and White. Like, I finished Black and White, and then I just waited until X and Y came out. I didn't play Black and White 2.
Hated Gen 5. Well, you're entitled to that opinion. But My
So someone says that you like execute, by the way.
No, God, it's eggs. It's eggs with faces. That's dumb. If people are gonna complain about Vanillish, you gotta complain about execute too. It's literally even more lazy than the Vanillish line. You can't just be like, oh, Vanillish is dumb, and then be like, I love Gen 1. No! Execute is even more stupid.
What are you talking? What are you talking about? One of those eggs doesn't even have a face.
It's just eggs. Eggs are not.
They don't all have faces. They're clearly original.
You can't just slap a face on something and call it a Pokemon. That's lazy.
Hello.
Oh, we're talking lazy Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yes.
You came in at the best time, but here's our fourth member. How about a quick introduction?
Hi, I'm Jules. Bunch of different names. Cynical, Critical, Ixaw 1. Designing a Pokemon that's an ice cream cone may be cute, but it's also stupid. I mean, don't get those Gen 1ers started where they're like, oh man, our Pokemon were the best. We had like a butterfly.
We were just discussing that. I already made the Diglett Big Toe comparison.
Well,
Literally,
Diglett is an
Ditto
incredible
is
Pokemon.
just like the blob. Like, it just has a line across its face, and it's just a pink globby thing of
Okay,
what?
but here's the thing. I like Ditto. I hate Grimer and Muck. Because Ditto, it's
I
supposed to
agree
be a
with that.
blob because it's like it's a mimic. It's going to transform into other things. Grimer and Muck is just like, it's toxic sludge. That's it.
It's like
we had
the
a
fan base
butterfly, a
for the
pile of
Pokemon.
sludge, a mime. Ooh,
It is toxic. You're right.
Here's another good one. Wait. Oh god, I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. Yeah, don't expect professionalism from me on these podcasts ever. I have the memory of a goldfish. It'll come
What are we
back.
talking about again?
We
I don't even
about-
we
remember.
were discussing the Pokemon DLC, but
Well, I think we got onto Temp
sidetracked.
Tam.
Yeah.
And
We got onto
we
Temp
were on
Tam,
Temp Tam,
and
but
then,
you know,
We got back to Pokemon.
Temp Tam. It's hard to distinguish the two because one's
It's true.
basically copying the other. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but still,
Yeah.
It's still a thing.
Temp Tam just
Yeah.
needs work. That's all. That's the finishing thoughts I'll say on that.
All right. Yeah, that's fair.
But
Indeed.
it shows promise.
But speaking
but also,
speaking of segues,
I don't need another MMO in my life right now. I already got Final
Yeah.
Fantasy,
Yeah, I hear
and
you.
then Phantasy Star 2's dropping in the States sometime, whenever that happens.
Hot diggity dang.
Yeah, it's supposed to be free too, so I might jump in that.
Temtem, they picked an incredibly good time to release Temtem, especially with Pokemon hype slowly dying. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not going to die because it's the highest selling. It's the highest selling franchise in the whole world. You can't stop a juggernaut like that so easily. But I think it's going. They picked the right time to release it, so it's going to have an audience at the very least.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
competition's always nice.
I see a few people on my following list right now that are playing Temtem.
Yeah, but anyway, speaking of salty fan bases, how about that last Smash character?
I feel a number of ways about
I don't know
Byleth
how
and
to feel about
Smash.
this.
I think that's basically the extent. It's like people are either mad or don't know how to feel about it.
So
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, there goes my $5. Well, I mean, to be fair, we were spoiled with like 4 amazing character reveals. I mean,
Yes.
Joker, Banjo,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ken with the
And I
hat,
think yeah.
and Hero.
and Hero.
Yeah. And Jules, I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, is that we had an amazing Fighters Pass, right? We had, Joker, Hero, Banjo, Terry, and then at the end of the first Fighters Pass, which was originally going to be the final downloadable character, I think everyone was expecting something big and amazing, and then we just get, our 8th Fire Emblem representative, right? I think in the context that we got Byleth, I think people are just upset, and I think they're let down, and I think that's totally fair.
Oh,
I think if they
it is
released...
definitely fair.
I think here's what I think Nintendo should have done. They announced how many fighters were going to be in the second Fighters Pass the same day they announced Byleth. What I think they should have done is said Byleth is going to be its own standalone thing. Fighters Pass 2 is going to be 5 fighters, and then Fighters Pass 1 is here's your real 5th character or something like that.
Like a fake.
Because then
out.
we're still getting the same number of characters, but they phrase it in a way that's not like, here's Byleth rounding out this amazing, DLC pack, right?
Yeah.
They're changing the context and the narrative to be, this is separate, this doesn't go along with this amazing Fighters pack,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like even it's like
agreed.
some I don't know, like Smash fans are a different breed. It's really weird just seeing all the discourse among that. 'Cause like aside from the people who just praise Melee like Jesus, then you get to the ultimate side of things where it's like, I don't know. With fighting games, especially ones like Smash, it's like people will always have the characters that they want. It's like I've been wanting Banjo for 20 years, and when he was revealed, I literally burst out into tears. I'm not even kidding. Jules was
Relatable.
there.
I was there.
Yeah.
Also, Shantae Wen.
Yeah, like
I'd be alright with
he
Shantae,
wants
that'd be cool.
Shantae is like as much. Even though I did get my #1 pick, I'd still like to see Crash one day.
Yeah.
Crash would be
But
awesome.
it's just like, I don't know. It's like Sakurai literally said on that direct, it's like stop posting me on Twitter asking for shit.
Yeah.
We're
Never ask
reaching
me
the
for anything
Harada
ever
route
again.
where it's like don't ask me for shit, just stop.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way that's fair because like he's a guy just trying to live his life, do his job, and people are bothering him on
Yeah,
Twitter.
I know. It's like
Put in Sans into Smash.
well,
Which he did, to be fair,
to
kind of.
be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. We got a
I-
Mii costume.
I'm honestly surprised we're even getting a second season pass because I thought like either they were going to like they revealed Byleth and if that was it, yeah, I would have been pissed. But
The fact
no,
we're
they're
getting
like
6
here's
more
another,
characters.
yeah,
Just,
here's another 6, and there's probably gonna be some really crazy stuff in there.
yeah, it's like we already
I would
got
hope so.
crazy stuff with this one. It's just hard to imagine what else could happen.
My concern is that since we're getting Byleth as the 5th character, it kind of makes me wonder, has Nintendo kind of like bottomed out on their budget? Can they afford any more big characters? Is that why we're getting Byleth?
Well, I mean,
You know?
it all depends
I
on
don't know.
the second party, because it's like,
Yeah.
let's draw the comparison between Cloud and Mr. Terry Bogard. So, Cloud got in. Square Enix is stupidly protective of their franchises, especially their little golden boy, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
VII. We only have 2 Final Fantasy tracks in a Smash game, only 2.
Yeah.
Like, and they're both from 7. It's like, man, I would have loved some Final Fantasy 9 or 10 tracks. Heck, I would have liked some
Yeah.
tracks from 8, but no. Meanwhile, you got SNK over here. You got 50 tracks from all sorts of different games. Terry Bogard's direct was literally 40 minutes long, and half of it was just
Oh, yeah.
Sakurai gushing about how he loved King of Fighters.
Let's put all of the other characters in the background, but not Mai. She's too lewd.
I mean, to be fair, I understand why he did that.
Yeah, no, I get
Censoring
it,
Maya
but-
would just be a disservice to her character, and he
Yeah.
understands
Which is
that.
true.
It's true. It's true.
But we got Blue Mary. We
But-
got Blue Mary with those giant bazongas, so
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not all bad.
Jesus H. Tap dancing Christ.
Oh, look at Blue.
I didn't know you was a tap dancer.
Look
That's a
at
nice
Blue
skill to
Mary's
have.
model on
Jesus
that
can do a lot of
stage, like,
things.
jeez. Like Sakurai went in deep for Terry because he loved SNK, he loved KOF, and you could tell.
Yeah.
And we
I don't blame
and
him.
and he literally said on the direct, like, we sent them 20 or so songs we sent them 50 songs thinking they'd only pick out like 10 or 20 or so, and they just said use all 50. We don't care.
Yeah.
Just 5 CDs and throw it on
And
in.
we got stuff
Yep.
from Fatal Fury, KOF, Metal Slug, Sam Show,
Oh yeah.
games I never
So
even,
much
games
stuff.
I never even heard of.
To be fair, this is the first SNK rep we've ever had in this franchise.
I
So
know.
I mean, it's also the first Persona rep and the first Dragon Quest rep and the first Banjo Kazooie
the
rep
first
and the
Banjo
first
rep.
Final Fantasy rep and the first Bayonetta rep and
if
the
you
first
don't
etc. etc.
if you don't count Donkey Kong as a rare rep, yeah, I guess Banjo would be the first rare rep.
It's probably gonna be the only.
I mean, I don't think I
sadly.
do because Donkey Kong was a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, Donkey,
Mhm.
Donkey
the
Kong
original
is strictly
Mario
Nintendo,
where, you know,
which Microsoft
Yeah.
didn't realize when they bought out Rare. Never
Yeah.
gonna forgive them for that. Never.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
But I guess
I just want I want a good Banjo game. I don't want this nuts and bolts
Yeah,
garbage.
but
Nuts and bolts wasn't bad, but it's not Banjo. Don't
But-
put Banjo's name on
But
that.
actually, since we're on the
cash-grabbing piece of
topic of
garbage.
Rare, where I hate to do this, but I'm kind of gonna shield myself out. So, if y'all aren't doing anything February, you should totally check out my channel because I'm turning February into February. Basically,
Love
I'll
it.
be playing Rareware
Nice.
games the entire month. I've been slowly building my collection over the past couple weeks, and it should be a fun time. If it
I
has
hope you got Viva Pinata.
Oh, I do. I was just
Yes.
discussing this with Jules Not even a few hours ago.
Why, hello. I also contributed Conquer and GoldenEye to this.
Yeah, he sold me
wait-
his copy of
Oh,
Conquer
GoldenEye.
today. And I found a
Nice.
copy of Star Fox
Very cool.
Adventures on my way home. Or as
I'm
I,
sorry
or as
for
I
your
like to
loss.
call it, The Legend of Star Fox.
Dinosaur Planet
Not
when.
wrong.
And no, we'll get into that, but no, I'm a self-proclaimed huge Rareware fanboy, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's also a good excuse to expand my collection. I'm still trying to find a few games, but it'll be great. But no, I bought Viva Pinata. I actually got it in a combo pack with Nuts and Bolts for $6. And I already own
that's a good
deal.
own a
Damn.
copy of Nuts and Bolts too, but it was just such a good deal that I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
You know you're a collector whenever you are okay with buying the exact same copy you already have of a game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've bought Shovel Knight 3 times and I've only played like 2 hours of it.
I have the Insane Trilogy on Steam, and I own all 3 of the original games on original PlayStation.
I have
I mean,
4
well, that's a
copies of
remake though, so
Gogeta.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's still the same game, just
All right,
prettier.
Yeah, still.
See, that's what I did with Resident Evil 7. I got the gold edition a few days ago because the gold edition has the main game and 3 DLCs in it.
Oh, I can't
That's pretty
imagine
good.
someone who's bought all the versions of Skyrim.
Oh
That's
god.
like on every console known to man, and maybe
I have
maybe
almost-
some refrigerators.
I have almost
That's
every version of Puyo Puyo 2 to ever exist.
Oof. I
Death Rave.
have the
We're-
I have the original Banjo cartridge. I got it on my 360. I'd have it on Rare Replay if they ported it. But, you know, that's never gonna happen. It's the only reason I'd consider buying an Xbox at this point.
Do
Yeah.
it. You won't regret
I don't
buying
love
an
my
Xbox.
Xbox One. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it.
Like,
Oh, you see, I
if I had Rare Replay, this whole event would be easier. But no, I have to hunt down all these games separately.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I have found a few. Like, I got Kazooie and Tooie, I got the DKCs, Diddy Kong Racing, Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark Zero,
Yeah.
GoldenEye, which he's lending to me. It's a lot, so it'll be a fun time. There'll be, like,
Yeah.
incentives and stuff, too.
I
But
thought they were releasing the Rare Replay on PC. Did they do that yet? Or
no,
are they not doing
if
that? Is that just a rumor?
if they did, I would have bought it by now. I probably would have
Alright,
bought
fair.
it twice. Because
Fair.
when I say I'm a Rare fanboy, I mean it.
He really is. I can vouch for it.
No, I believe it. Rare made some amazing games. They don't anymore, but they did.
Yeah, but shilling over. Sorry about that.
When we were at a convention, he bought a Jiggy
Jiggy
necklace, and I got a
necklace.
Dragon Ball necklace.
Oh, that's
oh my
awesome.
god.
I saw it and it's just like I have to own this.
Oh yeah, by the way, hardcore Dragon Ball fan. Just throwing that one out there.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that when you were not here.
Oh yeah, it's good to warn people.
You see, it's funny because like I tried watching the Dragon Ball Z series and I couldn't get into it at all. And like I saw like a guy with a
how
tail.
far did you get?
I was like,
Oh, she's like watching the original Dragon Ball.
yeah, the original Dragon Ball. I got up to where I saw Goku with a tail, and I was just like, why does this guy have a tail?
He's
What's
always
going
had
on
a
here?
tail.
Well, Goku has a tail from episode 1.
Okay, you see, like I didn't know why. Like I just probably didn't notice it until like he was fishing, and then I saw him like wag a tail. I was like, this guy has a tail.
Well, to be fair, it is based off Journey to the West.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good old Sun
Monkey King
Wukong,
and all
otherwise known
that.
as the Monkey King.
Yeah. And he does lose the tail. I think it's like near the end of Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
sheds
I know
his
that
tail.
much.
Oh my god!
Oh, he
I see-
doesn't
I-
shed it. He gets it ripped off.
Isn't
Yeah.
that near?
Oh,
isn't that in like?
lovely.
Isn't that during all the King Piccolo stuff?
He gets it off twice technically.
No.
Um,
I know one.
Both during
one
King-
was,
both during-
Yeah,
oh.
the World Martial Arts Tournament or Tenkaichi Budokai, as I know you were about to say.
I was gonna say we're strongest under the Heavens Martial Arts Tournament,
Oh,
but
geez.
yeah,
It's a mouthful.
that's a literal translation of what the Tenkaichi Budokai is.
Jeez. But nah, it's like back to Smash. For all intents and purposes, it's just I don't know. I do kind of think the Fire Emblem representation is a bit excessive, but at the same time, I'm not surprised Nintendo's wanted to shell it out, because like Fire
Yeah.
Emblem used to be one of their struggling franchises. Like
Yeah.
literally,
and now it's like one of their
if Fire
strongest.
Emblem Awakening didn't sell as much as it was, it would have ended there. Like, Sakurai
Yeah.
literally threw Marth and Roy in Melee just to get people to know what Fire Emblem is. And then, heck, he even said in one of the directs, it's like, people in Japan were asking who Samus was.
Yeah.
And now, people nowadays is like, I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with Metroid. It's just ridiculous to think that back then people weren't. When the NES was already well established when Smash Bros. Came out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the Metroid, the original Metroid would sometimes be packed in with the original Kid Icarus on the disc system
That explains a lot.
because
Really?
it was not a cartridge game in Japan. It was a disc system game. And the thing about disc system games is they didn't always sell as well. Like Zelda sold well because it was printed as both a disc system cart and an actual cartridge in Japan.
Yeah,
Um,
plus Nintendo doesn't have the best track records with disc-based systems. Points to the
No,
they
points to the CDI.
yeah.
Actually, I have to ask Mark. Do you know what the Philips CDI is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I regret knowing what it
You're-
is, but yes,
you're
I
a
know
man
what
of
it is.
You're a man of culture. I knew you were.
Well,
a good fit.
the CDI is actually from Philips. Nintendo didn't make the console.
Yeah, but they chose
Right.
to.
They did put a few
chose to
games
ditch
on it,
Sony
but-
for them.
They did. Have you ever seen the prototype for what their PlayStation Super Nintendo thing looked like?
The DD?
Yes.
Or was that was Nintendo 64? Was the
Yeah,
DD,
Nintendo
right?
64 DD was
Yeah.
the
And they-
add-on for the N64 that came near the end of its lifespan.
I
Horrible
mean, and they
failure.
were working with Sony on it, and then I think when they decided not to do it, Sony made the PlayStation. Like, with
Oh no,
intent,
they weren't
right?
working on the N64 disc drive.
It
They
was
were
for the
working.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
was a
But
Super
then
Nintendo
then
CD-based console.
Nintendo ditched Sony, and that made them the PlayStation in retaliation.
Oh dang.
Yep.
So
Here, let me see
Nintendo's
the picture.
partly responsible for creating one of their biggest competitors. It's funny how life
What
works
else
out
is
like
new?
that.
The
We
Super
got
NES
Temp Tam, we have a whole
CD-ROM.
bunch of people making fan
Yeah, like,
games. I think
Ninte-
Nintendo's
Nintendo
responsible for
just-
making a lot of their own
Nintendo
competition.
is like that one guy in an anime is just like, gets all these rivals for no reason.
Yeah.
Here, Chris, you want to put up the picture of the original PlayStation prototype? They did find one a couple of years back.
Posted in the
Yeah.
podcast channel. I think I know what you're talking about. I think they were gonna auction it off, but as much as I
Yeah, it would sell for
as
way too
much
much
as
money.
I love to own that, I'm broke. I just got out of college, man.
Oh, the feels.
That's pretty crazy. Holy cow.
But yeah, that's the link to the prototype of the SNES disk drive, or the Nintendo PlayStation as they were gonna call it.
Oh wow, the Nintendo
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
oh my
think,
god.
Think
Yep.
that would have been one
Oh,
hell of an
wow.
alternate timeline.
What? That
looks
would
so
truly be the dankest
small.
timeline.
Oh boy.
It looks so small and adorable.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
jeez.
a bad looking system. And the other thing was like Nintendo already was sort of experimenting with disc stuff at the time for the Super Nintendo. I think the closest we ever got were like the Satellaview stuff, which is
I don't even
Yeah.
know what that is.
so essentially, is it Satellaview or is
Something like that.
Let me,
yeah.
let me look that
Yeah.
up.
It's basically
just-
where like they would let you download games onto your console, like really basic stuff.
That sounds
Yeah, it
like
was-
another.
It was like one of
sounds
like the
another
first forms of
Sega
online
channel.
gaming.
We all know how that went.
Okay.
It was a little more successful than the Sega Channel was, but it was a Japan exclusive thing.
I mean, that's still not saying much though, because they had like what, like 15 games for it total.
Yeah, both had very limited game
Yeah.
selection. Nothing too noteworthy. I think there's some sort of Earthbound thing.
It was before its time.
A
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
things
no, it
were
was-
before its time.
I mean, did you know you were capable of surfing the net with the Famicom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh
News
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, there is an add-on for the Famicom that will let you
Yeah. Another fun
Dang.
fact.
Primitively
Online,
flip the
online
web.
Pokemon actually started with Gen 2.
Yes, it did.
Japanese version of Crystal allowed for online shenanigans with like cell phone service, I believe.
I mean, it looks
Dial
like a
up.
potato, but you know,
Dial
it's
up.
so
Dial
cool.
up, dial up.
I didn't know that, honestly.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
But
Holy cow.
as fun as going down history is, I'd segue because I'm good at those. So I know we all have biases on Fortnite, but this was something I wanted to discuss. So
I think you just chose this topic because you know how much I dislike the
It's-
main person
it's-
in Fortnite.
it's something I want to talk about because this game's been out for how many years, and they just gave Mr. Fortnite a skin?
Is that his actual name?
No,
Mr.
but that might as it
No.
might as well be. He's the
didn't-
face. Ninja's the face of the game. We all know this.
Yeah.
It's like freaking. I can't make another comparison to that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is that like the
So-
blonde dude on the cover of the game?
No.
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 Is he the lead man?
No,
This is
He, long
We're
story
talking about
short,
Ninja.
he used to be Twitch's golden boy. Then Microsoft swooped in, gave him
Sell out.
Okay, look, if
He made a
if
comic.
someone walked up to you with like a 30 million, you would take it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, no.
Morals be
I mean-
morals be damned.
So I think it was actually like really smart of Ninja to move to Mixer. This is a whole other conversation than what we wanted to talk about, but I'll just say real fast. Like this was really smart because now not only is he the face of Mixer, he's now also the face of Microsoft gaming in general. He is the face of Xbox now.
He got people
Right.
to care about Mixer again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, people cared for like 6 months when
care
every
about it
streamer.
more.
Yeah, like he got people to care about Mixer for like 3 months when every stream was like, "Oh, Ninja moved to Mixer. I'm moving to Mixer," and then 3 months later, everyone's like, "Mixer sucks. I'm going back to Twitch," and then everyone's back on Twitch again.
He
Right.
XD. But no,
Yeah.
it's like
But,
they
I mean-
just gave him a skin. It's like I wonder what took them so long. They also
Yeah.
they also gave
But-
Pokimane her own emote. I didn't expect that to
Really?
happen, but that was an interesting
I
development.
thought that was so cool.
I didn't even know Pokimane was playing Fortnite. To be fair, I don't follow a lot of really, really super big streamers.
I keep up
So-
with her shenanigans because the stuff that happens around her community is hilarious in both the worst and best of ways. I used to watch her, but now it's just got it kind of cringe for my taste. As bad as that sounds, I don't
No,
know.
I
You know
hear
what's
ya.
interesting though is like I used to pay a lot of attention to Ninja because like whenever he got on the cover, I think it was of ESPN or something like that. Like he got on the cover of like a major magazine or something like that for sports, as for esports and everything. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so proud of him. And like you know my opinion on him, so I'm not going to reiterate it. But whenever I saw this, I was like, okay, finally, this is actually pretty cool that he got his own skin.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why it took him so long. Because this man's been making money
know.
for years, and they just like now we're giving him a skin. Especially since they seem to come out with skins like on a weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking Fortnite.
I think. So I don't watch Ninja and I don't play Fortnite, but I still am in a weird way like very appreciative of Ninja, I guess, because with him being like the biggest streamer in the world, it's not like a weird thing to stream anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like only like elite gamers do that. Now it's like people know who Ninja is. People know that, video games aren't just for children and delinquents.
Yeah,
you know?
he's
See,
brought
that's how I
it
view
more into the
Markiplier.
mainstream, and I guess I can thank him for that.
Exactly.
Certain opinions of mine withholding.
Yeah.
Support your females, everyone. That's all I'll say.
All I know is Ninja's a streamer. People hate him, and he made a really bad comic.
You made a comic?
Made a comic.
He made a
Wait,
comic
seriously?
where he
What?
gets like god powers. Like, look it up. This is
What?
real.
This is-
Oh.
They got
This-
legitimate people to work on this.
You-
I don't
You're
want to look it up. I want to pretend it doesn't
This
exist.
is
It
This
exists.
is almost as bad as when someone in one of my classes found a fanfic my professor wrote. I read one.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
I read one paragraph and I wanted to bleach my eyes.
Oh,
So
jeez.
happy. I just love stupid crap like that. I
No,
love
it was
that.
hilarious. At the same time, it was horrible. Like
That's
I
horrifying.
hate that you subjected me to this, but thank you.
Exactly.
If anything, I could have used it as baggage. Just like, hey, I found this little work of yours. You might want to bump my grade up a bit, else this will end up on some shady forums.
It's actually kind of interesting. I'm reading the comments right now, and just like as a little bit of side note, if I can say like a small thing of where I'm hearing like a Markiplier is a hero, like literally he is the reason why I started content creation. Like he is the man. Like he is Bob.com.
He's the
Honestly,
most
like, in a
wholesome
roundabout
guy.
way,
Yeah.
actually same here, because I wouldn't have even considered streaming if I wasn't watching a Markiplier stream one
Same,
day.
yeah.
And then like he rated this guy like Eclectic Ninja or something, and he was that guy just like he streamed himself driving around like doing Uber rides, right? He would stream his Uber rides.
that
Like he would
legal?
pick up people. And I saw that I saw Markiplier give a raid to Eclectic Ninja, and I'm like, hey, wait, I can do way better than this guy.
Yeah. It's just so interesting to see because it's like I remember him doing like all these charity live streams. He still does a lot of them.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like finally somebody who like a gamer besides PewDiePie we can actually like look up to, you know?
Yeah.
Assuming
Yeah.
you look up to PewDiePie, but
Yeah,
I do.
I was gonna
won't
say I don't look
anything.
up to
I won't say anything
PewDiePie.
on that.
I do. Like side note, like honestly, besides the controversy that he's had to deal with, he's really like been able to get so much money for charity. He's been able to do so much for a community, and he's like by far one of the only people that's willing to say, "Hey, I messed up. I'm willing to understand that. Let's try again."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just something to talk about. But I don't know. Salty fan bases seems to be the theme for today, among other things. So who here knows about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't want to say anything else till I know where this conversation's going.
Okay,
Well,
so
well, he is the fastest thing alive.
the fastest thing
Thing
alive.
alive. He's the fastest thing alive. All right, I'm done.
Now, I kind of wanted to have a discussion around Sonic, and more specifically, the fan base or your experiences with such, because I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of discourse about it. The Sonic movie's coming out on Valentine's Day. Totally seeing that.
I just want to say, who decided to release the Sonic
Yeah,
the Hedgehog movie on Valentine's Day?
No one
they
decided it
d-
got delayed, which will also
Well,
get
they still
into
had to
that.
decide when to release the delay.
They deserve a raise. I'm so excited.
Yeah. If you're taking your date to see Sonic the Hedgehog, you
And she,
deserve a
she
Nobel
talk,
Prize.
and if she continues to talk to you after the movie, she's a wife material. 'Cause
Truly.
Real talk,
to be
like
fair,
I do want to go see Sonic with my wife.
No,
She's
like-
like, maybe we could go see it for Valentine's. I'm like, Lindsay, no, I'm not bringing you to
Like,
Sonic
me-
on Valentine's.
Me and Jules are seeing this, fully expecting it to be terrible, and that's the fun of it.
Exactly.
The only
Also, have
reason-
you guys seen? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Have you seen the interview with Jim Carrey where he's like actually deeply analyzing his role in the movie?
Oh my god, no.
Yeah,
He's like-
it's
he's like-
really funny.
He's like, Sonic is Robotnik's innocence, and you know it's something he can never have. I'm like, oh my, what the fuck, Jim Carrey?
Oh my
Look,
God.
I
It's
feel
amazing,
bad for Jim
honestly.
Carrey. Honestly, he's been through a lot, man.
I don't. He's gonna
He's
sell
probably a
this
little
movie.
borked. Jim Carrey's probably a little borked. I feel bad for him.
To
I
be
think he
fair,
needs
what
therapy.
Hollywood actor isn't borked at this point?
That's
Facts.
true.
Like,
I mean, like,
Yes.
hey, look, Keanu Reeves, right? He's had a really rough hand, but like, he's doing pretty all right.
he's
Yeah,
like
he-
the 1%. Like
Yeah, he's playing a
Keanu-
tumbleweed in SpongeBob.
exactly. Like
Okay, hey, look, you know what? That was a masterpiece.
this,
All right.
this the highlight of his life. I'm sure. No one's
That was
no
his
one's
magnum
gonna remember
opus.
him for John Wick, but for being a
I will.
tumbleweed in SpongeBob.
I will
Actually never
become the
seen John
tumbleweed.
Wick before. I need to see those movies.
It's good.
It's basically, imagine a real life Matrix if Neo just went around killing everyone
Because they killed his dog.
because they killed
Wow.
his dog. Can't forget
Aw, well,
that.
everybody deserves vengeance for killing a dog.
And then did the third movie come out yet?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
John
saw
Wick
it
3
on
has
my
been out.
flight to
Came out over
Hawaii.
the summer.
Oh dang it! I'm so behind with the times.
Saw it on your flight to Hawaii. That's so fancy. Gosh, I
I was going on my
aspire.
honeymoon.
I aspire to be that level of bougie.
God, I just
I was going on my honeymoon.
I just
all
got
right?
back from a week-long stay in Hawaii, and I want to go back. It's cold
I know.
here.
Real talk, like I said, my wife and I went on our honeymoon in Hawaii. We were there for 2 weeks, and it was probably the best 2 weeks of my life.
I've never
I didn't
been.
go
That
on
sounds
Twitch.
amazing.
I didn't go on Twitter. I didn't go on YouTube. All I did was read angry people on the Pokemon subreddit. That's all I
Which is-
did.
which is
And I was so
which is so
relaxed.
much better.
It was, because look, I deleted my Twitter like a week ago, and honestly, like, I have no desire to go back to Twitter.
I don't blame
Oh,
I
wait,
know
you
that I
deleted
have to
Twitter?
at some point. Yeah, I deleted my Twitter. I know I have to go back at some point, but like, I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't handle streamer Twitter. I'm so done with streamer Twitter.
Yeah, I avoid that. I used to avoid it unintentionally, but now it's completely intentional.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
just-
tired of reading the same
I just
same
kinda-
freaking 4 topics.
I just kind of live under
so
a rock,
done.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
This is like the one
But
time
anyway.
I get out from my rock, and then I just go back in after it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're
no,
not missing much,
but
by
no,
the
as
way,
far-
Mark. Like streamer Twitter has been kind of weird lately.
Oh no, it's been garbage for like a year. It's just like in the last like 3 to 4 months. I'm like, oh, everyone's an idiot.
But yeah, Yeah, no. Like,
Yeah, we get it. Boobs aren't stealing our views. No one says that. The only people who are saying boobs don't steal your views are people who want to cause drama. I see like 100 times more people complaining about boobs stealing views than actually people complaining about boobs stealing views.
It's drink every
dumb.
time Mark
That's
says
basically
boobs.
internet forums
Boobs!
in a nutshell. But no, as far as Sonic's concerned, I don't know. Jim Carrey's gonna sell that movie, and then it's like, I really just don't know. I've wanted to discuss the Blue Bastard for a while, because his fan base, while not the worst, is definitely the strangest I've encountered or witnessed, because it's like, it's so divided. And I don't know. Sonic's like the only character I can think of in any source of media that's just had failure after failure and yet is still kicking.
I do honestly, I'm sure a lot of people have made this comparison, but I kind of feel like the Sonic fan base is in like an abusive relationship with Sonic.
No, like, I
Yeah,
think
'cause, like-
most Sonic fans, and I know some, basically agree that being a Sonic fan is like accepting you're a masochist. You just,
Yeah, I mean, because like everybody who's still a Sonic fan is just like waiting for them to make another good game, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
then,
they haven't made a good
happened,
game
and
since,
Mania's
like-
fantastic.
yeah,
Huh?
but then
Which one?
Sonic Mania. But then we got.
Oh yeah,
but
Sonic
then we
Mania is
got
great, but
Forces
Sonic
right
Mania wasn't
after it.
made by Sega.
It was just basically endorsed by Sega.
Yeah, pretty much. But like,
Sega made
you're right.
Sonic Forces.
I forgot about Sonic Mania. You're right. I have it. It's a great game. I've played like the first 2 worlds, and then I stopped playing it because I had a billion other games to play. But
Dang, I've beaten it.
no, you're
I've
right,
beaten
but-
it twice.
I'm gonna take a hot take right here. The only good part of Sonic Adventure 2 was the Chow Garden.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you on that. Although the
Like,
Sonic
first
Sonic
3
stages are fun.
Yeah, I was gonna give a caveat. Like the first 3 to 4 Sonic and Shadow stages were great, and then they got too difficult to be fun.
Yeah, so here's my 1-minute review of Sonic Adventure 2. It's not a good game. It's a fun game. It's fun. The Chow Garden's great. The Sonic stages are good. All the mech levels, the first 3 mech levels are good, and everything after Pumpkin Hill for treasure hunting sucks.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree.
essentially,
100%.
half the game is good, the other half is trash. Also,
I'll make you
it
eat
is
those
it is
words.
the pinnacle of Sonic story. It's the pinnacle of story in a Sonic game because it's so ridiculously cheesy, and I love it.
I also
love
love
how
how bad
just,
the
like-
voice acting is.
What about
Yeah,
what
and
about
it's all, like,
game
all
where
the voice
Sonic
lines are,
kisses
like-
the human girl? We don't talk about that one.
Oh
That
god,
game-
we don't
that
talk
game
about
was
Sonic
so-
06.
See,
so
that
come
I
game
on.
never
was
played
so
a full
bad.
Sonic game before, so I don't know this.
Sonic 06
Honestly,
was
you're
so
not missing
bad,
much of
it
anything.
retconned itself, literally.
It did. Okay, like Sonic 06 is so bad that I bought it knowing how bad it was, thinking, hey, at least I can learn something about how not to make a game, and then I returned it the next day like, I can't do this.
No, I've beaten Sonic 06. I don't know why.
I'm so sorry.
But I did it. And it's like, I don't regret that I do it, because, like, it's the worst game on a technical level, but it's not my least favorite Sonic game. That honor
Oh, no.
goes to Shadow the Hedgehog, or as I like to refer to it, Edgy the Hedgy.
I call it Shadow the Hedgehog.
Edgy the Hedgy, I love it.
Because that's
That's
basically
amazing.
what it is. Like, playing Shadow the Hedgehog makes me genuinely angry. No other Sonic game has done that. At the most, I'm just disappointed or bored. Never
It is
angry, though.
freaking hilarious.
But no, Sonic fans are just like they're interesting. It's like you
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?
like games
Oh my
aside,
God.
you have people that think like there's someone that thinks that every Sonic game is in existence is the best one. Like I had a guy come up to me and think that Shadow the Hedgehog's a genuinely good game. It's like, why? How do you think this? There are people that think 06 is a genuinely good game. It's like this game literally doesn't work. How can you think this?
Carefully.
Maybe they were high when they were playing it.
Then you have of course the people who think SA2 is the best Sonic game. It isn't. You have the classic stands, the modern stands, the in-between stands. I was the weird one who my favorite game before Mania was CD.
Mine was same with me.
I liked 3D Blast.
I
do
honestly,
too.
I do too. 3D Blast is a guilty pleasure of mine.
It's so good. It's like, what is it on? The Sonic Gems collection or something? It was like on the Sega Genesis, and then they put
It's-
it on like the Gems collection.
Sonic Mega Collection.
Yeah,
Mega Collection,
I
thank
get
you. It was on
two
one of those,
mixed
but
up.
Yeah, me too. I mean, they're
Gem?
basically the same game, but with different Sonic games on.
Gem
so, like,
Mega is way better than Gems because there's only three games that Gems has. One they have Sonic CD, and it's the original Sega CD American version, which in my opinion isn't good. It's too there's too many load times. And the intro video is still compressed to hell. Just buy the Christian Whitehead version; it's literally perfect. It also has Sonic R and Sonic the Fighters. Those are the three Sonic games you get on Gems, while the Mega Collection has 1, 2, 3, Knuckles,
The best ones.
Mean Beam Machine, 3D Blast.
oh god, Mean Bean Machine. I remember crying playing that game.
Oh, good old
'Cause I
Puyo
was like,
Puyo.
I was
Dr.
sleep
Robotnik.
deprived, and I was in like 5th grade, and I couldn't beat the level, and I just broke down.
I'm a competitive Puyo Puyo player, so I know your pain.
Puyo Puyo's
suck
great, though.
at Puyo Puyo. Like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, same here. It's just so good. It's so much fun though.
I may or may not be playing the Super Nintendo Switch Online Puyo Puyo 2 as we speak.
Oh god.
It's how I keep it. It's
It's
how I
also
keep in
on,
shape.
it's also
How I
on the
practice.
Genesis Mini if you want that. I do want a Genesis Mini one day. Because as far as Sega's library goes and my experience with it, I basically know Sonic, a few other select games, and that's it. I have not really given Sega the time of day.
I never had a Sega growing up.
Me
I am
neither.
like desperate for a Nintendo 64 Mini though, and I desperately need Mystical Ninja Star and Goemon.
Oh my
I
god,
need it.
a Goemon
Wow.
fan? Fuck
Yes.
Oh,
That was
man.
my favorite Nintendo. Okay, maybe not my favorite Nintendo 64 game, but it is up there.
It's
was
really
so
good.
good.
It's really
I gotta
underrated.
give props to Star Fox 64. That's like one of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
Well-
but Goemon is like my second favorite Nintendo 64 game.
Well, I'm biased because Banjo-Kazooie is my favorite game ever. But
Okay,
aside-
yeah, that's fair. I love Banjo-Kazooie too, but I mean, like, it doesn't have the same magic for me that Goemon does.
That's a hard choice. I actually really like both those games.
Yeah.
It's either that or probably Smash, because I've had many good times with Smash as a whole.
I'll admit, I was never a fan of Smash 64. I could never unlock Ness.
I didn't even know
See,
who
I've never
Ness
played
was.
Smash. So.
Anyone here know the Legend of Dragoon? I actually own the Legend of Dragoon. It's my
I know Legend
it's
of
my
Dragoon.
third favorite RPG aside from Skies of Arcadia and Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger's great, though.
Yes, it is. It's Square's magnum opus as far as I'm concerned.
I played it for the first time early 2019, and it was awesome.
Good.
Good
It's
stuff.
Like, time travel's probably one of my favorite fiction
Okay.
I like
shows.
it. I like it for the obvious reason.
Oh yeah, that slick Toriyama art style.
There you go.
I'm assuming you're a fan of Dragon Quest, then?
Yeah. I haven't played too much of it, but I've always admired the art to it.
Yeah. Akira Toriyama, he's got like a very, very iconic art style. And seeing as you're a fan of Dragon Ball, it makes sense.
Yeah. I also love Doctor Slump a lot, and
Oh
Or
yeah, I
you
want to
wa-
read that too.
Yeah, no, he's
Go
all over this.
Go Akmon, or God, you want to go like really, really far back? What's it called? It's
Bat rip.
not. Is it, hang on.
Take your time.
Okay, so it is Cashman. All right, I just wanted. I had a feeling I remember what it was called, but I was scared it was gonna be wrong. But yeah, Cashman. It's really, really obscure.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he
That's
knows
a hero
lot
property.
about old stuff, anime in particular.
Animes are pretty cool.
But yeah, I don't know.
I need
Sonic,
to watch more anime.
Sonic's just fucking weird, dude. People who like
Yeah.
Sonic are weird. Which I guess explains a lot about me. I wouldn't call myself a Sonic fan, or at least not a hardcore one, but just like I keep up with his misadventures.
Yeah. I
I've
hear
played
ya.
his games, I've watched his shows, for better or worse.
Yes.
I haven't read the comics though.
The comics are great. I actually
There are
really like the Archie
comics for
comics.
Sonic?
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
there've
there
been
are.
comics
Oh
for Sonic.
goodness.
Okay, so wait, which ones? There's stuff that covers every continuity that's ever existed for Sonic,
Oh.
even crossovers with Mega Man.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Sonic
Yeah.
Sonic and Mega
What?
Man had a crossover comic series.
Okay, that's legit kind of cool.
And it is.
know what?
It's actually
But-
really good.
I mean, I believe that, but I'm kind of sour on Mega Man. Ever since they canceled Mega Man Legends 3, I've been really bummed out.
Yeah, Capcom has not been treating the Blue Bomber well. Although we did
I
get
know.
Mega Man 11, so who knows?
That's
The thing
true.
that's weird is that Capcom's been killing it in every other genre except their fighting games, which is kind of ironic considering that they used to be most known for them. But no, Street Fighter 5 just now getting potent. I'm not saying that name, but thank you for
Wow, what a
following.
name! Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying that. We're family friendly here for the most part.
Jesus Christ, Okami of Blood, what did you do?
I don't know.
I'm alright.
But thank you for
I'm
following.
sorry, just like the
I hope
audacity.
you're enjoying yourself. No, Mark, that's
Just
not
the
the weirdest. That's
audacity.
not the weirdest thing. One time during a podcast
I know, but
episode,
still.
I had a guy come in. He posted a paragraph from the Declaration of Independence and then just left. And I
Oh,
never,
yeah,
and I
I was
never,
there
and we
for that.
never saw him again.
That's amazing.
It's just so cool. I mean, like, I don't know why he even did that. I remember seeing that. I was just like, okay, this is interesting.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know if he was trying to be racist or something, but yeah, that happened. Never saw him again. Wherever
You know,
you are, I salute you, and I hope
It could have been a
I
bot.
hope you're spreading the good word of the Declaration in other people's chats. God bless. But I guess that's a good time as any. So we've kind of reached the intermission. So basically the halfway point where we just kind of discuss like a bunch of like miscellaneous topics or whatever. I kind of made a list of them, which I don't normally do, so I'm proud of them. So I guess we can just go down that. So first things first, Valve confirmed they're not doing Left 4 Dead 3. So insert can't count to 3 joke here.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that, honestly. I think
I
they might
don't
just
either.
be wanting to keep it under wraps because, like, Valve Time is a meme, but it's also very real.
If anything, I'm
So-
surprised they're making games again. Like, they just came
Yeah.
out and said they're making a new Half-Life. Like, I would have
Yeah,
never
and
expected
I'm
that.
super excited. I'm
But
super
it's not
excited
Half-Life
because
3.
Half-Life
I know
3 's
it's
never
Half-Life
coming out.
Alex, but
Never.
it's Half-Life Alex, but like I bought a Valve Index, so I get it for free, and I'm super excited to have like a legitimate VR like big title.
But yeah, no, considering they have a monopoly on the PC gaming market space, do you think they'd never have to make another game again? They really
I
don't,
know.
Yeah.
but they are. So that's
Yeah.
cool. I would
I'm just
would
glad
play
it's
it,
not
but
Artifact.
I would play it, but VR makes me ill. Also, didn't they kill Artifact?
I have no idea.
They did. They killed it, but I really don't think they're actually killing it.
I mean, they probably just like cut support for it. They pulled a Heroes of the Storm. I'm willing to bet.
Oof.
Rip Heroes.
The only reason I ever played Heroes was to get the Overwatch skins.
I played it with friends, but I played it and it's like I kind of prefer League. So
Yeah, same.
I don't like the whole communism style of leveling up, which is
Flawless
so.
game.
For those
you
of
can
you that
definitely play
never
it.
played Heroes of the Storm, Heroes of the Storm is basically a MOBA like League of Legends. My main issue with it is that you all level up at the exact same time.
Oh,
I don't like
gosh.
that. I want to get swole and carry my games because my teammates are idiots.
You want to get swole. Oh my god. I never thought I'd ever hear that term again. I thought I escaped from it.
Solo carry, bitch.
Oh my god.
But no, aside from that, it's basically just a less complicated version of League. And then League's a less
I feel like
complicated
it's-
version of Dota.
I feel like it's also like much less polished than League too.
It's a lot more balanced, but then again, Riot's balancing team is just a bunch of monkeys. That's a discussion in itself.
Oh my
Five
God.
move,
I haven't
five
played League in
movement
a
speed
long
nerf,
time.
by the way. No one's gonna get that joke, but if you do, I respect you.
Wait, who needs to be nerfed?
No, I said 5 movement speed nerf, by the way.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I don't get
that's
that
how
meme,
that's
sorry.
that's what they defined nerfing one of the champions in League. We reduced his movement speed by 5. He's still one of the best
Wow.
characters in the game right now. Have fun,
That's dumb.
ain't it? But oh well. Aside from that, so did anything happen at PAX South? I figured I'd research this, but I couldn't find the time. So like, did anything noteworthy happen?
Not really. I mean, I looked up some stuff. I mean, one of my favorite YouTube channels went to Pack South Residents of Evil. Shout out to them because they're amazing. They were the only noteworthy thing that happened there, honestly.
Oh well, moving right along. Yeah, these miscellaneous topics tend to go by pretty quick, so you know.
Yeah.
Well, DBZ Kakarot. Jules, I talked to you earlier about this, so it's like, care to repeat that? I guess.
Get
It's
ready
good.
for his moment.
There you have it, 10 out of 10 game. But no,
No, it's fun. It's fan servicey. I mean, I'm gonna level with everybody. This is not the first time I've gone through the entire Dragon Ball series in a game. I've done it several times. I think I could pretty much just I know it frame by frame now that I've played the games a million times and binged the whole series and read the manga and done everything. So, I mean, initially when I heard about this game, I was actually just more excited the fact that it's a Dragon Ball RPG, not the fact that I was going through the series again. But what makes this one stand out from the other ones is that there are it's open world. There's more there's little side things that never really even happen in the anime or anywhere else. They kind of add to the story, so it's entertaining. I like it. It's fun.
yeah,
Good time.
So-
basically. Oh,
I want to ask you something. So I'm someone who's been wanting to get into Dragon Ball for years, but I just haven't had the time. If I were to make time to play Dragon Ball Kakarot, would this be a good representation of the story, or would you still suggest that I go watch the anime or read the manga?
Read the manga is always going to be my answer to.
Also, I like you because I 100% agree with that.
so for
I may love the Dragon Ball anime, but the manga is better in literally every way.
So for,
So,
for
Yeah.
those of us that don't read, I'd say Kakarot's basically a one-to-one, well, almost one-to-one translation of the story. Basically, every beat that happens in the show happens there. And if you do want to watch Dragon Ball Z, please only watch it up to the Cell Saga, or watch DBZ Kai, because it just gets fillery after that.
I like the Boo saga, and it's fillery
The
even
Buu
in
Saga
Z.
drags on
Wait.
too long.
Was Boo not part of the canon?
No, Boo's
Boo's
canon.
canon. Okay,
So
so,
wait.
can it? Okay, so
Or
you
was
said
just
the C
was
word.
that arc in the anime like super fillery? Is that what you're referencing?
Yes.
It does go on too
drags
long.
forever.
Okay, gotcha.
And it just gets old. To be fair, though, the series kind of starts dragging its feet towards Android Cell Saga, but it's still bearable.
Okay, fair.
But no,
And I'm just Team Switzerland over here,
and then,
not really knowing
watch-
much about Dragon Ball Z.
watch the original Dragon Ball in its entirety. That's quality.
Okay.
Read the manga.
Super is whatever. And then if you're morbidly curious, I would actually recommend GT.
Yeah.
Only if you hate.
GT
See,
only
I
if
would
you
want to
hate
get
yourself.
everything. I want to get the full Dragon Ball lore. I want to know what's going on.
Oh,
I want
well,
to be able to go toe to toe.
Sadly, GT's not canon anymore, but
Is it really?
yeah, no, they declared it non-canon.
Wow.
GT's technically okay. So GT's canonity was a subject of debate since GT's release in '96. Essentially, Toriyama himself has said it's whatever you want it to be.
And that's a
He's
fever
okay.
dream for me.
He is okay with it as an ending to his franchise. However, that was a statement he said in like the early 2000s
Right.
because Super's out now, and Super changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
So again, it's up to you whether or not it's canon. But the things that are definitively canon are Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Okay.
Those are all canonical things. And Bardock and History of Trunks are as well. The canonity of the original Bardock movie is now up in the air because of Broly, but History of Trunks is a canon film.
Okay.
Or television special, technically.
You like Bleach, Okami? I'm sorry. Bleach made me want to drink bleach. After the Soul Society arc, it just tanked.
I think that's when I stopped reading as well.
I-
Not because I didn't want to keep reading, but that's where the manga was at that time, and I just didn't care enough to keep reading.
Yeah.
Also, I'll be right back.
And then, funnily
No
enough,
worries.
it's the anime's 20th anniversary soon, I think, and they're supposed to be planning a new project.
Really?
I don't know what
Huh.
it is because I don't
Wow.
like the show, but that's happening.
All right. Well, I mean, I might read the manga just because, like, I like reading manga. I just need more time to do it.
I don't like reading. I kind of never have.
I mean, I don't like reading books. I like reading manga, but that's really about
I
it.
just don't like reading.
I like reading Reddit. I like reading articles on video games.
Well, you are a stronger person than I, because I actively avoid Reddit as a choice. I might have to
Here's the
break
thing.
that oath, though.
The longer I spent on Twitter, the more I'm like, oh, this is just like inverse Reddit, except Reddit has more thought out things.
Does it? Because
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that from what I've seen of it.
You might be in the wrong subreddits.
Probably.
Then. But I mean, like, no, look, the longer I spend on Twitter, the more I'm like, God, I hate Twitter and I want to spend time on Reddit. And the longer I spend on Reddit, I'm like, boy, Twitter's so much better.
the duality.
Oh my
The
God.
It's
duality
this
of
vicious
man.
cycle of hating both.
The cycle of hatred is never ending. Speaking of
No kidding.
hating things, they're making a live action Bambi. No.
Oh, my heart's
Just-
gonna ache. I know it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta interject real fast because I just noticed something that I want to call attention before the topic passes. In your freaking Twitch picture, the sign in the back behind your face says "Reader's favorite pick." Given this discussion, I just wanted to point out the irony.
Oh. Oh no.
That's actually really awesome.
All right, Bambi. Okay, look. Here's my thing. I don't trust them when they say live action anymore because everyone was like, "Oh my God, live action Lion King." No, it wasn't. It was CGI. You idiots.
Yeah. Well,
So if you're gonna say live action Bambi, do you really mean you're gonna train a deer to do all these things?
Well,
You're just
no,
gonna CGI it in with actual voice actors.
no, they said they're going the Lion King approach.
Then it's not freaking live action.
Aside from it not being real live action, I just don't agree with these live Disney remakes of things. Is like, you can't capture things in real life that you can with animation. It's just not how that works. Plus,
It's not even live action.
Plus-
it's still animation.
Plus, do you really think I want to see some white redneck hick roll up with a 50 cal and shoot Bambi's mom in the face?
I mean, well, when you say it like that, yeah, kinda.
God, I made it sound 10
Now,
times.
now,
More,
now, 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 now.
I made it sound 10 times more appealing than it'll probably be.
Oh my God. I just honestly remember whenever I saw that they were doing a live action version of Bambi, I'm like, okay, this can either go one of two ways. One is going to be super adorable and wholesome, or it's going to make me want to slap every director in the face because they actually do a live action shooting of a deer.
Yeah, that I don't think that would go well over with a lot of people. So CGI it is, but even then, it's still just no.
No.
Yeah.
I don't hold Bambi in that high regard, but I still like the movies. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's been a good quote-unquote live-action Disney remake yet.
Yeah.
I've seen most of them.
I mean, I'm still eager to see Mulan.
I want to see Mulan.
I
But I also loved Mulan. Mulan was my favorite Disney movie when I was a kid.
I was going to see Mulan, but then some stuff came up with the actor, and I turned tail on that.
Uh-oh.
So apparently the chick who plays Mulan supported the Hong Kong riots, or China's involvement in the Hong Kong riots.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, any person that's against freedom really doesn't get an A+ in my book.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that
That's
one.
why I deleted all my Blizzard stuff, but that's a different story.
I haven't deleted my Blizzard stuff because I haven't played a Blizzard thing in like 3 years.
See, I'm a big fan of Overwatch. I just don't like the fact that of what happened within the entire community. Like, I still play the game, but I don't really pay attention to the politics because it's like, that game was $59. If I don't play that thing to hell, I'm doing a disservice to my bank account.
And speaking of Overwatch, it's
The-
kind of miscellaneous, but Overwatch actually made a deal that they're not doing OWL on Twitch anymore. They're going exclusively to YouTube for that now.
Oh,
I think
wow.
that's
Matters
that's a
anymore.
can of worms that I don't know if I have the time to open right now.
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd bring it up, but I never really cared about OWL to begin with.
Yeah, neither have I, but
Best Disney film was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I respect your choice. My personal favorite is The Lion King, but that's because it holds value to me beyond the movie itself.
See, my personal favorite was Hercules.
Fair enough.
Hercules was good. Bless our soul. Na, 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 na. There you go. Yeah, I didn't know the words, and I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to fumble it.
I used
I
to
don't know
know
the
all
words
the
either,
words to
honestly.
Zero to Hero, but that was a while ago.
Hercules was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Especially like Hades, he was a mood, like entirely.
Oh my god, yeah. Who played Hades? Was it like
James
it wasn't?
Woods.
Thank
Yeah.
you, James Woods.
Woods just knows how to be a bad guy. Honestly,
He does.
because he just kills it in every role he's in.
Oh yeah.
Also, Danny DeVito.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Danny DeVito.
I'll watch a movie just because he's involved in it. I wanted
Yeah,
to
no
see, I
kidding.
wanted to see the new Jumanji just because it had Danny DeVito and Dwayne the Rock
Yes.
Johnson in it.
I saw the new Jumanji. It actually wasn't bad.
Maybe I'll bootleg it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but I mean, like, I wouldn't go see it a second time. The first,
Yeah,
I mean, it was good. The first time
it's
was
a
good,
one
but
and done, but
now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like kind of refreshing my mind. I'm like, oh, it's kind of just the first movie, except with an old person.
Oh god.
I mean, hey,
Sorry,
it's
two old people. My
It's
bad.
it's better than the premise of Zombieland Double Tap. That movie just didn't need to happen.
Oh
No,
yeah,
it
I honestly forgot that did happen.
Exactly, and that's all we're gonna say on that. But no, are there any other weird little side topics you guys would like to bring up? Hopefully, while we wait for our fourth to get back.
No, I think I'm good.
Mark.
There was I forgot what I was gonna say. I think I never got to weigh in on the hot games of the month, but I don't really have much to say. I haven't been playing a lot lately, mostly just Pokemon, and then I buy like a bunch of Switch games that I never get to play.
Rip.
But it's
Have you
okay
been-
because like I love just collecting games in general, like having a shelf full of games that I can show people and be like, look at all these games that I own.
Oh
It's, like,
no,
fun
I
to me.
understand completely. I still need to expand my Switch library because I only have 3 games for it.
You only have 3.
I have Smash,
please.
Mario
I only
Maker
have
2.
one.
Because Switch games are expensive, okay? I literally.
They're the same price as every other game.
Yeah, $60 is a lot. I literally.
Actually,
so
they're
what?
cheaper
I
at
lit-
Walmart.
I
Just putting
literally
that out there.
just got out of college, man. I don't have money.
Okay, yeah, relatable.
I
get
have
it.
Smash, Mario Maker 2, and Pokemon Sword. That's it.
I
You
have
need to get
returned.
Odyssey. You need to get Odyssey like yesterday.
I want,
Odyssey is
I want to
amazing.
get Odyssey. I want to get Splatoon 2.
Yes. Oh my God.
What other
Splatoon's
game
great.
was there? I had Breath of the Wild on my Wii U in the months I owned that.
Go play River City Girls,
Ooh,
y'all.
what about
yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3?
Oh, yeah.
I'm currently
Yeah,
playing
oh my
that right
God.
now. It's
I
amazing.
I
that
freaking
too.
Pavloved myself with that game though. I Pavloved myself with Luigi's
Oh,
Mansion
no.
3. Cause like I got it right before I went on my honeymoon, and then
Right.
like I started playing it while I was on my honeymoon, but I didn't have time to play games until the end of the day, and I was like very tired because we were out doing things all day, exploring Hawaii and stuff. So every time I'd start Luigi's Mansion 3, I was like Luigi at the very beginning of the game. Like I'd open up my Switch and I'd immediately fall asleep. So now I'm
Yeah.
afraid that every time I go to play Luigi's Mansion, I'm just gonna fall asleep playing it because I've Pavloved myself. Dang it.
But yeah, no, I do want to get River City Girls 2. Keep forgetting that Switch exclusive. I think.
So let me. No, it's on the PC.
Is it?
Is it?
I didn't know
I
that.
could have sworn it was.
No, wait, I have a question though for Mark actually, because I'm trying to decide which Switch game to get that's Pokemon, and I really want to get either the Eevee version or the Pikachu version, and I want to know which one you would recommend.
Oh, let's
Oh,
go.
for Let's Go?
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, it literally doesn't matter. They're the exact same game. The only difference is like what Pokemon you can get in it, and like everyone's gonna be transferring all their Pokemon as Sword and Shield anyway. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
honestly,
exactly.
just go with the one whose mascot you like more. You like Pikachu more, get Pikachu. You like Eevee more, get Eevee.
Yeah.
That's literally the beginning and ending of that discussion.
Yeah, so
Interesting,
Let's
okay.
Go Pokemon. Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu are basically just Pokemon Yellow,
Pokemon Go.
except with
Oh.
Pokemon Go mechanics.
Yeah, that's a much better
Like
way
it's
of playing
literally
it.
it's literally the gate. It's the gateway to the gateway of Pokemon. Because let's be real,
Yeah.
the Pokemon games were never hard. I don't know why that's an
No.
argument point in any Pokemon argument. Like these games were never hard.
I think
I beat
the thing is
I beat
that
Gen 1 when I was 5. Like seriously.
yeah, yeah, and honestly, Red and Blue are like the hardest ones.
Yeah, because they were so
You know,
because they were so
broken.
broken.
Also, they were like so archaic because they hadn't learned how to make games yet. No one really knew how to guide players in the
But
right
yeah,
direction. But then it got way too handholdy after like Diamond and Pearl,
But yeah,
in my opinion.
to anyone that does ever want to get into Pokemon, assuming you're a stickler for like starting at the beginning of series every time, play the Gen 1 remakes.
Yeah, Absolutely. Just play the
Fire Red and
remakes.
Leaf Greens are the perfect starting point.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
And then
if you
Hard
don't
Gold and Soul
care-
Silver.
Yeah, if you don't care
Hard
about
Gold and Soul Silver are like the
continuity-
best Pokemon games ever made.
Yeah, if you don't care about continuity, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but be warned, those ones will cost you because they actually cost
Oh,
twice as much as they did when they first came out now.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're
they're
so
like
good, and they don't make them anymore.
I
$45.
literally went to a game store. They were selling a Heart Gold for $30, but it was just the box and the manual. Just the
Oh my
box for $30
Not even the game.
Sin. That's no.
for Heart
Yeah.
Gold. But speaking
Yep.
of Pokemon, that actually reminds me. I saw somewhere that they released the details on how Pokemon Home's gonna work
Yeah, they came out today, actually.
today.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's gonna be there's two options basically. There's a free version which only lets you store 30 Pokemon and you can't bring in Pokemon from Pokemon Bank. And then there's like the paid version which is like 16 a year and you're able to like trade with your friends and like host trade rooms
Oh yeah, they
and like,
basically
do the
brought
GTS and things like that. So
back, yeah, they
like
brought that back.
basically you want to get the paid version. Otherwise you're kind of locked into having basically like a one-way transfer. You get like one extra box for free, which is not worth it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I might transfer some of my Pokemon. My latest comp team is still in black and white, and I haven't transferred them up. But half
Oh my
those
God.
Pokemon aren't in
Oh.
Sword and Shield. Basically,
I
the only
know.
ones that are my Espeon and my Ferrothorn. Everyone else got the
Yeah.
boot. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, my highly trained Scizor, which is my favorite Pokemon, by the way, is still trapped.
Rip.
God, I hope they bring Scizor back.
We don't actually. I
Back
don't think we have a
skizzers.
confirmation of that yet.
Yeah,
But
all we
I'd
know
be
is that they're
surprised if we
bringing back
didn't.
200 more of the almost 900
Yeah.
we have.
Yeah.
Which some
And
of
the
them I
thing
wish
that-
would stay gone, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy about that, honestly. The thing that makes me the most happy is that you don't have to buy the DLC to get your Pokemon back.
I'm happy
Yeah.
about it on a casual standpoint, but on a meta standpoint, it's like we just
Oh, yeah.
just got a
No.
breath of fresh air. Now I'm gonna be seeing
Yeah.
Garchomps everywhere again.
If they
Freaking-
bring back the Tapus, I will probably stop playing competitively
I
again.
think they said all the legendaries. So we're gonna be seeing,
Mega
we're gonna be
Ray.
seeing the
Oh,
Tapus,
good.
Lando
Yeah,
T,
God, I hate
the
that.
Ultra Beasts.
Oh.
Buzz Swole.
That's what made me quit Sun and Moon meta, was because every team had 3 Tapus on it.
Imagine if they, I mean, it could be worse. Imagine if they brought the Megas back.
Okay, yeah. Look, I love Megas, and I wish we had Megas instead of Gigantamax, but you cannot have an ecosystem with Megas, Z-moves, and Gigantamaxes.
Oh no,
The game is just
that's way
ridiculous
too
at that
broken.
point.
Dynamax
I didn't even
itself
like
is kinda
Z-moves.
strong.
I didn't even like Z-moves. Just Megas were perfectly fine. I don't know why they had to... The problem I have with Z-moves is that they're a band-aid to a problem that would have been solved by just making more Megas.
I guess, but Megas in itself was a flawed concept because it's like, okay, you give Pokemon basically power-up boosts and new abilities. Okay, that seems fine on paper. When you give them to Pokemon that weren't viable before, it works. When you give them to Pokemon that are already viable, that's a problem. And when you give them to legendaries, you get Mega Rayquaza, which is so broken
Yeah.
they literally had to make
Okay.
a new tier just for him.
You're right. You're right, and I agree with that. And I think that some Megas were dumb and weren't needed. But I think, again, the problem with that is that they made some Mega Pokemon were just way too powerful, right? And then they ended up banning some of those to Ubers. But I honestly do think that that problem, with the exception of Mega Rayquaza, I admit that was stupid. But I honestly do feel like the problem that they made by doing that would be fixed by just continuing to give more viable options.
Yeah, but
Right, because there's no guarantee. I don't think was it like 100 point stat boost to Megas.
Yes.
They could break that rule and make new Megas. All right, well this one needs a little bit more help. Let's give it like 150, or this one needs
Yeah.
not as much help. Let's give it like 70. So I honestly do think that the solution to their problem with Megas was to double down and make more Megas.
But I mean, bringing the legendaries back in Sword and Shield might not be that bad because, well, you can't Dynamax the legendaries that are already in there.
True.
So that's kind of their
True. And
crutch.
I think I have hope because you mentioned a few of the big Pokemon coming back, like in particular Garchomp and
Volcarona,
Therian Landorus,
Kingdra.
right? There are a ton of new and viable ice Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and Garchomp and Landorus have huge glaring ice weaknesses.
Yeah, but
So I think
Garchomp usually
with them-
carries a berry for that.
True, but I mean, with hidden power being gone, like you don't have to worry about the HP fire anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot less coverage.
You know,
I'm
so
gonna sit in
we
my
have
casual
options. We
bubble
have.
here.
I think I'm just excited to see where the meta goes, and I'm willing to give it a shot before I write it off
Oh
entirely.
yeah, another Pokemon I hate that they brought back. Fucking Blissey. There's no escape from that
Oh,
pink
God.
blob.
Oh
I
gosh.
fucking hate
Oh,
Blissey.
God.
Like, I like the Pokemon,
Really
I just hate it from a competitive standpoint. That thing has...
It's just.
Imagine Dynamax Blissey. It's gonna have like,
I'd rather not.
1200 HP.
I'd rather not, Preacher, please. I do not want to think about
12
D-Max Blissey.
1200 HP Blissey.
Just watch them
Oh,
give it a
God.
G-Max. Watch them give it a G-Max.
Giant egg.
G-Max soft boiled.
Oh, God, I don't even want to.
Heals you and your entire team.
I
I'm calling
can't.
it.
I can't. I can't.
But no.
Just watch Pokemon, the entire series, everything. It's gonna turn into like the Overwatch of the community of Nintendo.
Oh, it already
Oh,
has.
God.
Oh, no.
Pokemon's as far as Nintendo's fan bases go, like Smash used to be my worst, but now Pokemon's kind of up there. But
Feels bad,
that's that's all I'll say on that. But I guess we can move on to the big topic for tonight. So
Oh yes. Oh.
so
Okay.
for those of you
Excited.
not aware of that image in the front, that in the top left corner over there, that image is a promotional thing for a famous game called Duke Nukem Forever, which was delayed for
Took forever to
how
make.
many years? I don't even
I
remember.
think it missed live
Something
action
like
damage.
13.
Yeah, 13 years or so, and the tagline for it was basically "When it's done."
Yeah.
Fast forward, Duke Nukem Forever is trash and all that stuff. But in the words of Mr. Miyamoto, rush game is bad, delayed game's less bad. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version of that quote. But anyway,
A delayed game is eventually good. A rushed game is bad forever.
thank you. I'm not.
Except patches exist, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean.
No Man's Sky is like the poster child.
But
Was like a counter
pretty
argument
much.
to that.
The
Pretty
big
much.
topic of tonight is all the game delays that have happened in the span of less than a month.
So happy about this.
So,
So happy about this.
Yeah, so, Final Fantasy VII got pushed back a month. Doom Eternal got pushed back from last year to March of this year. Cyberpunk got pushed back all the way to September. And on...
Godzilla vs. Kong got delayed.
What?
Godzilla vs. Kong got
Oh,
delayed.
well, apparently it applies to movies, too. There's no escape. So I guess, I don't know. Who wants to start off the discussion? How do you feel about delays in general, then?
Do you want? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
you-
just
you
really
feel
excited.
like
Go ahead.
You have
Go for
words
it.
on this.
No, go
I
right
have-
ahead, Ariel.
So many words. I was even talking to my dad about this, and my mom. She did marketing for like 20 years on like different companies, and she said, Ariel, the number one thing whenever you have a delay, that's the best possible thing that can happen for a company because it means they actually want something to come out not crappy.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Because even with the delays, they're still saying they're gonna be doing crunch. Well, with Cyberpunk anyway, which kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
defeats
bull.
the purpose.
That's garbage.
Well, the thing is that Cyberpunk, it was almost took like what 7-8 years to do. So I feel
Yeah.
like them admitting the fact that hey, we have to do a delay and pull the trigger on this release date that's going to be in April. It's really smart of them to do because like I'm really excited for the fact that a company has the balls to say, hey, our product isn't the best that it can be, and we've been working on it for forever, so we're going to take a little more time to make sure it's great for you guys.
Right,
Yeah.
and I agree with that. I'm a huge proponent for delaying games. I fully agree with Miyamoto on this, being like, if the game's not done, it's not done. Delay it till it is done. Delay it till it's worth buying. Delay it till it's what it can be.
Yeah.
In this instance, though, with Cyberpunk, they also said at the same time that the game is done and playable right now. They just want to put extra polish on it. In which case, I'm a little more hesitant because polish is nice. I would love a fully polished product. I think it's absolutely worth the delay, but again, the issue here is they delayed it like 5 months, something like that, and
Yeah.
they're still going to be crunching for 5 months on polish. In my opinion, like
Yeah.
if the game's done and playable, like polish is like, all right, let your workers relax a little bit, right?
It's a little excessive.
Because like crunching for 5 months for polish seems excessive. And in my opinion, I think them saying the game's done and playable, I don't think that's true. If they're going to be crunching for 5 months for polish, I don't think that's true.
Playable could
Yeah.
mean anything really. That could just mean like they have like a beta or something.
could just mean it doesn't crash.
Or that.
They haven't found anything that crashes the game.
I think
Well,
I think a better word for them to use is like it's functional so far.
Yeah.
Well, we can also look at the example of the game Blair Witch that came out a year ago. You know, I
that get
spoke to my
delayed?
community about this. No, it didn't get delayed, but there were bugs in it. It should have gotten delayed. Like whenever, for example, one part in the game where you have to go up into like a cart that you ride through like different parts of the town. It literally like froze in the part of where I was getting up onto the cart, and the cart would disappear in the middle of the track. So you had to restart the game in order for it to even work. So, I mean, if it's bugs like that, if it's bugs of where you can't even do certain things, then that's why game delays are so important, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I am glad that devs are actually delaying their games instead of just releasing them half-assed and just, you know, releasing
agreed.
a giant day one patch. Bethesda.
Yeah.
Sorry, something in my
Also-
Fallout 76.
I was actually just talking about this the other day with somebody. I'm honestly getting sick of DLC. I kind of long for days where games were just released in one big swoop. You didn't have to buy
Yeah.
the rest of it.
Agreed.
Yeah, but no, it's like I feel like the norm is just, you know, release the game half finished and then just patch it later, even though, you know, a game's release window is kind of the most important part of its lifespan, because that's how
Yeah.
you make the money. It's like, imagine if they made a movie that was half finished on opening weekend, like,
They have. It's called Cats.
oh yeah,
Cats was the
about
first movie that
that.
had to be patched.
So yeah, we have entered the timeline where we can patch movies now, and Cats has proved it, and it's still
You know what?
trash.
You know what I find interesting though, where I kind of have to disagree with the whole making it into one big game, because I mean I come from like a very businessy type of standpoint. So if they're doing different DLCs and everything, take The Evil Within for example. It had the main game, then it had 3 other DLCs as extensions of the story from different perspectives of another character. So I really think number one, that's really great that they're doing that, because they had for I think $4 per DLC. The third DLC for the Executioner was like $2.99 or something. So it's not too much extra added on, but it's to the point of where like if you want to see the rest of it, hey, you have to buy the extra DLC, which business wise, it's a really great move marketing.
Right. But here's what I want to say though. Like I personally have a love-hate relationship with DLC. I think it honestly does come down to what the DLC is, because in some
Yeah.
instances it really is like a full expansion pass. Freaking Elder Scrolls Oblivion had the Shivering Isles expansion.
yeah.
That was
The
freaking amazing. That was absolutely worth the price, right?
One
Like
of-
$30, you get like a full extra half of a game.
One of
That's
yeah.
amazing. And then also in terms of Elder Scrolls Oblivion,
The
you get
horse
horse
armor.
armor for $250, which is freaking stupid.
Yeah, no,
So
my
I really do think it comes down to what the DLC is and are you getting your money's worth. And then on top of that, I want to know that my DLC wasn't intended to be in the game and then just cut to be sold to me later.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's
like
a good
one of
point.
my favorite examples of DLC, it's kind of corny, but Halo 3, when they released their map packs, it's like it was a lot. There was a lot of maps, new forge
Yeah.
tools, all that good stuff, and it was great. And then you have DLC practices like Azura's Wrath, where they literally lock the ending of the game behind a paywall. They patched
that's
that
dumb.
out, but the fact that they did it bothers me amazingly. And let's
Yeah.
let's not forget everyone's favorite company, Konami, aka pay us
God.
pay us
God.
$10 for an extra save slot, please.
Oh,
Konami
did you
still
hear?
makes games.
Did you hear what's happening with Konami, by the way?
When you say make games, we use that like very
Very
loosely.
Very loosely.
Konami
Did
has
you-
established
Unquote.
that they don't want to make games anymore, mainly because they kill all their old franchises and just turn them into pachinko machines.
Actually, you know what's interesting about Konami? What's happening now? He's adding another game of Silent Hill,
Oh, Kojima?
allegedly. Yeah,
Really?
Kojima. There's an article that came out that got sent to me, and he was like, "Well, they're going to be continuing the Silent Hill franchise."
So- Konami, you garbage excuse for a game studio.
Yeah, Konami,
Yeah.
they've certainly fallen from grace because, you know, all their old franchises are dead.
Well,
They-
Kojima was the one who was talking about it. It wasn't Konami.
Yeah.
That's the
I
thing.
mean, if Kojima's behind it, then that's something to be
That's a different story.
That's something
Yeah.
to be hopeful.
Because
for.
Kojima was like the last remaining good thing about Konami, and then Konami's like, "No, you're fired." And then and Kojima's like, "All right, I'll do my own thing." And then Konami's like, "Wait, no, not like that.
And then they tried to make their own Metal Gear game without them, and that's how we got Metal
We'll
Gear
make our own
Survive.
Metal Gear with.
And they killed
We'll make
the
our own Metal
franchise
Gear with
that.
microtransactions and DLC, and nobody played it."
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Metal Gear Survive was trash. They don't care about Castlevania anymore. Frickin' what else
that's
is
right,
there?
they made
Silent Hills is
Castlevania.
dead
Yeah.
for the most part.
That broke me.
They killed PT, a trailer that literally set the internet on fire.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was gonna be Silent Hill.
Yeah, I know. They canned
But,
it.
You know what's interesting though? The fact that all these new reports and new things that people are finding out about PT Silent Hills, and then this leak comes out about Kojima continuing on the Silent Hill franchise because he wants to give fans what they want, and I'm just like, yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
He's just gonna make his own game, Quiet Mountain.
Yeah, but a bit of a segue. I was discussing this earlier with Jules, that they've been renewing a lot of trademarks, a lot of different devs for different games. Like, I heard about Capcom renewing, like, Dino Crisis and Darkstalkers a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Jules apparently informed me that they renewed the Kirby Air Ride's trademark. Please give us a
I am
Switch port for
so
Oh my
that.
god, yes,
excited.
Kirby Air Ride, please.
Please.
New Kirby Air Ride, please.
Oh,
That
yeah,
game's
not
a
just-
masterpiece.
Apparently they
Not just
renewed
that, the
this trademark
sorry.
for Sunshine as well. What?
Kirby Air Ride, but it's just
It's just City Trial Online.
Kirby Air Ride.
could sell that.
What if-
Subtitle City Trial.
How about Kirby Air Ride, but it's just Waddle Dee?
Waddle Dee
And
It's
City
not even a
Trial.
game.
Wait,
It's
is-
just like a model viewer for Waddle Dee.
Rip.
You know who actually is selling the rights to the name Silent Hill for $10,000? You can buy the name Silent Hill, like the rights to everything
Oh
for
my
the
God.
game.
Really?
That is cheap.
That's super
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And I'm just
sad.
like, they actually, like, what was it? They got the rights, like they renewed it in Canada. I'm like, wait, what?
Time to start that
That's weird.
GoFundMe to buy the rights to Silent Hill.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I don't know. Just delays are kind of weird because, like, I was talking about this in the text chat with George. It's like, just because a game's delayed doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be good when it comes out. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
we've gone over a lot of. I
Duke
think
Nukem Forever.
Yeah, I think when it comes to delays, it's important to look back on the failures of games that have been delayed. Duke Nukem's
Yeah.
kind of the poster boy for that. Another infamous example is Daikatana, or, you know, Big Sword.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
John Romero didn't make us his bitch that day. We made him
No, he
our
did not.
bitch. That's basically the story of that. What are some other bad examples of games that were delayed forever? Oh yeah, Alien Colonial Marines. That dumpster fire. But then again, that's just a bunch of mismanaging on Sega's part. They have a bad track record with that, sadly. Maybe that's why they stopped making consoles.
Maybe.
But then again, trusting Gearbox and Randy Pitchford is a gamble in itself.
Are you not a fan of Gears of War?
Oh, I loved Gears.
Oh, is
I
that-
loved Gears.
Is that the
Gears of
same
War is
company?
No,
amazing.
Or is that a
Epic
different?
Games made Gears of War.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Gearbox.
Before their,
That's
Before
Borderlands.
their Fortnite days, Epic made
That was
Gears
2K.
of War, and I loved
remember
Gears
that.
of War. But then they just kind of sold it off after the third one. It's just been kind of meh ever since. But no,
Yeah.
Gearbox is
They're-
Borderlands. I do like Borderlands, but I don't want to support them anymore because their CEO is a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
Randy
One thing-
Pitchford had
Quick
a
tie-in though.
Randy Pitchford had a USB file of pornography at a medieval times. That's a true
Like-
story.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
One thing I'm really curious about, though, I just thought of this, is that with all like the new consoles that are coming out for PS5 and Xbox Series X, like what will happen if any of the titles that are supposed to be on those consoles get delayed? Does that affect the console itself?
Kind
Oh
of.
yes.
Launch-
Absolutely.
launch
Especially in the
windows-
console release
Yeah,
window.
console
Okay.
release windows
Absolutely.
are important. It's the two main factors when it comes to how well a console sells on launch. Its price, as evidenced with Mr. $600 PS3 here, and the release games. Like, you have to, your release library has to be stellar, otherwise it's going to affect your sales hard. Or, you know,
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
true.
The Switch started out with a garbage library. It had Breath of the Wild, and that's about it on launch. I mean, it had snipper
you didn't
clips
like
and fast
1, 2,
RMX,
Switch?
but
I think the Switch was the exception because it carried itself by novelty. It's like, oh, it's a console and a handheld. And then when
I agree.
people
I
realized
agree.
that was a great idea, like everyone and their grandmother tried to put their games on the Switch. Everyone and their grandmother
Yeah.
still wants their games on Switch.
Yep.
But
All right,
other,
I think that's
but
fair.
other
That's a fair
than that,
point.
it comes down to price and release library. Because the PS3
That's true.
Sony would have still had the crown for that generation if the PS3 wasn't $600. Because
Yeah.
once they revealed that price point at that E3, the room went
Oh, yeah.
silent.
Well, the
Oh,
PS5
yeah.
is going to be 500
And-
though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but that's
Is it?
still $100 less, even if that is a lot.
500 steep.
$599 US.
Yeah.
And then
$599?
Xbox came in after their conference like, hey, our console's not $600. That's basically all they had to say, even though the 360 in its infancy was essentially a brick that lights up.
Yeah.
Mine's a piece.
I
Mine's
think
a
I
piece
had
of
to
shit, and I still have
I
it.
had three. I had 3 red ringed 360s.
Mine likes to fake out Red Ring a lot, but aside from that, the disk drive jams, it crashes on me constantly. If I didn't have
Oof.
games downloaded onto this thing, I probably would have sold it off years ago.
Yeah. I
The
feel
only
you.
reason why I bring up the console versus the release date of that is because whenever I saw the trailer for the new Hellblade game that's coming out, I'm predicting that they might actually do a delay on that, which is why I brought that up, because I'm just like, that's going to be a massive game. The first Hellblade is a massive game, and I'm just like, I really hope they don't delay anything.
But yeah,
with the new console.
PS5's release games will be important. Xbox already said
Yeah.
their first game for their new console will be a Halo, which is the best
Yeah.
thing they could have done, hoping that it's good. Because, well, it's still their flagship franchise as far as I'm concerned, but Xbox just needs exclusives. Like, exclusives
They
aren't
have an exclusive.
consumer unfriendly, but they just help move hardware.
Yeah, but they do have an exclusive.
I mean,
Ori and the Blind Forest. It's for Microsoft and for Xbox.
I have it.
Right,
Right,
hasn't
but
been
I
out
can get
in
that
a
on
while.
PC.
Yeah, you can get it on PC,
So
but
I
still,
have no
like,
reason to look. I'm gonna level with you guys here. I have 0 interest in the Series X. If they come out with a new Halo game, I'll probably buy it to play that. But the only reason I bought my Xbox One is because all of my Rock Band DLC carried forward.
People still play Rock Band.
Interesting.
That is literally the only reason I bought my Xbox One, because I wanted Rock Band 4 and I didn't want to lose out on my 1,200 DLC songs. That is it.
What the hell have you done to my emote, and how?
That's adorable.
I love
I
that.
need to change those channel point rewards. I
Oh my
I
God.
feel offended.
Oh my god, that's great.
Anyway,
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
but yeah, I don't expect any delays when it comes to like the new consoles, because that would just be disastrous. Unless
Yeah.
they delayed the console as well, which might happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I
Eh,
mean, I don't know
we'll
when
see. Never know.
PS5 is supposed to come out, but I know Xbox
Didn't
is supposed to come out in holiday.
I thought they
Yeah,
said
most consoles try to
PS5 was
release around the
coming out
holiday season.
holidays as well. Or am I wrong?
Okay.
I don't know. Actually, let me
What?
look this up.
Most things try to aim for a holiday release.
Yeah, because those.
Except for the Switch, for some reason, releasing in March. I don't know who thought that up, but I mean, it
Yeah,
worked
I don't
out
know
pretty
why.
well for him. So who am I to judge?
Yeah, I don't know. The PS5 release date's pretty sketchy. People are saying 2021. Honestly,
I wouldn't mind it, honestly.
eh,
I'm alright with that.
who knows?
Saving more of that money so my bank account
All I-
doesn't die.
All I know is that they need to step up their game with those state of plays though, because they already announced that they're not attending E3 this year either.
I know.
Which is
God, that
unbelievable.
upsets me so much. I love E3. It's like gamer Christmas.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've kind of moved past it. It's like
I know, but
Nintendo's kind of not there either because they just do a direct. It's really just
Yeah.
real talk. Where the hell is the next Nintendo Direct? We got Smash and Pokemon, but we need to know what Nintendo's working
I'm
on. They have like 12 new SKUs in GameStop system.
I'm sure.
What are these games?
I'm sure that we'll get one in February. We better get one in February.
I was expecting one
Because
last
then
week.
when March drops, we get Animal Crossing, and people will be
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
too caught up in
That's
that.
what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid we're gonna get an Animal Crossing Direct in
Yeah.
February, and then like nothing until like July.
Yeah, and while you nerds are playing Animal Crossing, I'll be over here playing a real game, Doom Eternal.
Hey, listen,
Excuse
whenever
me, hello. I'll be playing Persona 5 The Royal. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, that
Hell
comes
yeah.
out too.
And or One Piece Pirate Warriors 4.
I
I'm
completely.
gonna be
I'm
playing
saving all my
or
another one.
Animal
energy.
Crossing.
I'm
And
saving
or
all my
Pokemon
energy.
Mystery Dungeon.
Oh god, there's
I'm
too
s-
many games in March.
Nope.
And or Half-Life Alex. Thank you
Fuck.
very much.
Hang on.
And
Wait,
Resident
does
Evil
that-
3 remake.
That's
Does the
April
gun-
though.
Wait, isn't that April?
March?
That's in April, but I'm considering it early because I'm still fangirling about it. Thank
Alright,
you.
Which one?
Fair.
RE3 make?
Oh, I'm talking about the. I was saying the new Gundam game. Well, they're releasing
There's
Gundam
too-
Extreme versus Maxa Boost on.
There's too many fucking games in spring.
Love it.
Some of those other games need to be delayed just so I don't go broke.
I know.
That's why
Oh
I'm glad
my
Cyberpunk got delayed till September.
That's why I'm glad Final Fantasy got delayed. It's like, wow, I have another month to save my money, and I'll be needing it.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess, hey, there is one good thing out of all this.
So did we skip live action Bambi?
No, we talked.
No,
about
we just
that.
had very
Yep.
little to say about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
just. I gave a good tagline for it. Disney should hire me though. Just like
Well-
watch some white redneck hick pull up with a 50 cal and shoot Bambi's mom in the face.
Oh my god.
Incredible.
I live near a lot of Hicks. I don't think they'd be appreciative of that.
Well, come to Michigan if you want. I wouldn't.
Bambi 2. This time it's personal. Oh, wait, sorry. Bambi,
Bambi 2's actually exists though. They made a sequel
Sorry.
to it.
Bambi 3. This time the deer gets revenge.
Oh my god.
And then you just see a deer with like pistol ammo, and he's just like smoking a cigarette, being
Oh, I
chill,
picture-
being like, all right.
I picture like swole Bambi with like Neo's coat from the Matrix, glasses and all, dual machine guns,
Oh my God.
hunting down the hunters
This-
that killed his
This
parents.
is so much worse because I just rewatched Predator recently and now I can't
Oh
get that out of my head.
Predator Bambi.
Oh god.
Bambi, like instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's just Bambi
Alright.
who fights the predator.
Damn.
It's
Well,
like,
hey, I
I'll
hate
be
to,
back. I'll be Bambi.
I hate to interrupt, but I gotta get going. I think my wife just got home.
Alright, well, we should probably get to the last topic then, but if you gotta go, that's fine.
I think I could probably stick around for the last topic.
Alright, well, moving on. Delays, keep doing it, but don't push your workers. But, I don't know. Last thing's kinda subjective. It's a new year, and, I figured we could all do, like, some streamer advice, as generic as that sounds. I don't know. I didn't want to do this, but then it's like, fun fact, over my Hawaii trip, I got my first streamer check, so it was like, I felt like I was doing something right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, dude.
So I don't know. Is there any advice you guys would like to share for the new year? For any of these
Don't be
youngins?
afraid. Take
Yes.
a chance. It'll all be worth it in the end.
I have some advice that I feel like I've recently really internalized. It's something that I've been told a lot that I haven't really started doing until recently, I think. And that's find some way to give value to your viewers. And not only that, but do it in a way that's readily available to people who are looking for your content.
Hmm.
You know? For example, like, for almost all of 2019, all I did was, stream video games and like talk to people and do my best to be likable and be friendly. But I wasn't really having a lot of success with it. Then once I started playing Pokemon, I was able to get raids for people and, get, high IV Pokemon so I could help people get into the competitive scene. And the value of my stream is now very, very apparent to people who are, looking for this kind of thing. And I've been seeing a lot of success lately that I haven't seen since, the start of 2019 when I did something similar. So it sounds kind of nebulous, but find something that you can do for a certain community and then advertise what it is you're doing for them.
I agree
I'm
with
actually-
that.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm actually going to be on another podcast. So shout out to Kale Mitsuba, who I'm probably going to be going to see right after this.
Right.
He is a trans artist who has did a really good comic called Sweethearts of 1989. Not a sponsor, but highly recommend checking out his work. But him and I are starting a podcast where we talk about anime and issues in the LGBT community. So Should be a good time.
That should be good. Let me know when you do that. I'll shout you out and stuff.
Will do.
But yeah, I guess my little tidbit of wisdom is just, well, one, I always tell people that if you do want to stream, just please do it for fun. Like, honestly, I got peer pressured into streaming by some friends, and it's like, the more I did it, the more I learned to enjoy it. But then they just kind of reached a point where it's like, oh man, I gotta start networking. I gotta build that clout, dog. And then
Oh my god. I honestly
over
like.
in
I
the
think
latter
networking
parts
is
of
overrated.
2019, it's me kind of learning that sort of stuff isn't important. Like, I've only been doing this podcast for a year, and I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, not only in my channel but in my life. Cause like, I've enjoyed every single one of my broadcasts. Like, I've got, I as like antisocial and I come off, I do like talking with other people and like hearing their opinions on stuff and things. And it's like, I've just had a good time with this. New I've met new people, made new friends like you guys. Like,
Hey.
words
Hey.
can't express how thankful I am that I did this and that you guys were willing to give me a chance with it by being a part of it.
Of course,
I
dude.
will
Thank
say
you so
this
much for having
podcast
me on.
was
It means a
my-
lot.
And then that extends
Indeed.
to the chat too. Like, thank you for supporting my endeavors. I'm always striving to improving. Then next month I'm doing something with games that I've just grown up loving and sometimes hating, but that's beside the point. But yeah. And aside from that, there was one other thing I wanted to say. Damn it. Right? One piece of life advice: write stuff down, especially if your memory's as
Oh, yeah.
bad as mine.
Yeah.
But other than
Yeah,
that, I'd
that's
say
true.
another piece of advice, like going back to networking, like, it's not that important. Like,
Absolutely
networking is
agreed.
kind of like making friends. It should just happen naturally, because if you force it, it's
Yes.
not gonna go well. I've learned that lesson.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think people get caught up in networking because so many people do it, and it seems like all the popular streamers have a lot of other popular streamer Twitch friends.
Yeah, like,
So in a way, it's kind of like a pyramid scheme in a weird way.
yeah, like, it's
In a way, yeah.
going back
but-
to life advice. If you try too hard to be friends with someone, you'll usually just end up chasing them away. I've done that
Yeah.
before, and it sucks. So, like,
Yeah.
don't sweat it too much.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hipster, is there anything
I
you'd
think-
like to share?
Yeah, like while you guys were talking, I was trying to think because it's like I moved back to YouTube recently, so for streaming, I do just chatting streams a lot of the time, so I don't really do gaming on Twitch anymore. So I can give my advice solely from doing YouTube content, honestly.
That works.
But the main thing that I've found of where it's something that even bigger YouTubers have given me advice on is that finding your niche is the most important thing. Like, if you love something like gaming, for example, that's cool. And anybody can pick up a camera and just film themselves, reacting to a video game or a trailer or anything like that. But finding your niche within the gaming community, something that nobody has ever done before, is crucial if you want to grow and you want to have your own community. That's why I love being able to utilize what I have a degree in college to be able to honestly, like, people have said that I've helped them, not to toot my own horn, but that's absolutely freaking amazing that I've been able to do something just by talking about the psychology and journalistic values within gaming, and seeing like, okay, this game character has dissociative identity disorder, this character has postpartum depression. Like, it's all about finding where you belong within that massive community, and I think once you find that, it'll be a lot easier
Yeah,
to gain success within whatever community you're in.
it's funny you say that, because finding my
Yeah.
niche is something I'm still struggling with. Because, like, I just kind of look around. It's like, Mark does his stuff with Pokemon, you do your horror and psychology stuff, and then me, I just play whatever. But it's like, despite me playing whatever, I still find ways for people to engage me. Like, I had a guy hang out with my stream with me playing Crash Bash. Fucking Crash Bash. I'm surprised people even remember
Incredible.
that game. But no, someone
remember
hung out,
Crash
he knew
Bash.
what it was, and it was good. It was
Yeah.
nice. So I guess,
Well, hey,
like,
I just want to give a little bit of a perk, I guess. Don't feel bad about not finding a niche. I mean, hell, I had one at the start of 2019. I didn't want to do it anymore, so I went back to variety and it was a lot more difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So take your time, find what you're passionate about, and when you find something that you're good at and you're happy doing consistently, then go with that. It'll feel right, and I think you'll really see the returns you expect from it.
Hopefully.
And stay true to yourself.
But I am glad of the progress I've made so far, and here's to hoping to more.
Woo!
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yay.
Indeed.
But I guess since that's basically the highest note, I guess we can call it a night from there, since we have kind of reached our time limit.
Yeah,
But,
I gotta go make dinner.
I may have to go help co-host another
any parting
stream.
words before we all dip?
Thank you for listening, and thank you to Preacher for having me on. This was a super fun podcast.
Yeah, I got you on.
Very, very
finally.
honored to be on here, and I'm glad we got to talk about all these fun things.
Yeah.
So
this was a while in the making, but I'm glad I got you
oh
on.
yeah.
Now you can
I know. I'm
never
sorry.
leave.
Oh.
You're stuck with
Life
me.
doesn't stop.
I know.
Last parting. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Last parting words I want to say is also thank you for having me on. You're absolutely an amazing human being and love your face. And pineapples do belong on pizza.
Oh,
Just
okay,
saying.
well, get out. You're banned. Banned.
You banned.
I want to say thank you so much for having me on, Preacher. You're one of my closest friends, and it's an honor to be on here. And life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
I was listening to that earlier, damn it. Now it's going to be stuck in my head again. But yeah, thank you to all my guests for joining me. I appreciate it greatly. Check out their content. They're wonderful people, if you couldn't tell that already. And, well, to everyone in my chat, thank you for joining me. If you missed out, we'll have a VOD. I'm probably going to upload this on YouTube because I want to start archiving these. But I hope you all have a lovely evening.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
You
Have a
too.
good night, everyone. Have tacos for Tuesday.
Have Tuesday for tacos.
Tuesday's almost
Yes.
over.
I gotta go make tacos right now.
Dang.
It's 9:00 and I have to go make dinner. So.
But yeah, also follow and stuff if you enjoyed it. And then for February, if you like Rareware or want to get into Rareware stuff, peep my channel. It'll be nothing but that for the whole month.
It'll be a
I'd
good
down to
time.
watch some of
Yeah.
that. If I'm able to, I will pop in.
Don't-
I love rare games.
Don't force yourself for my sake.
I'll do what I can, man.
I'm mainly doing this for me. But yeah, you all have a great
Not for the
evening.
vine, huh?
All right, good night, everyone. I'm gonna
Night-night.
disconnect. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
But yeah, that was it. So like I said, if you liked what you saw, you can keep up with me on those links. You can follow, and yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. And I will see you probably tomorrow, because I do have that Doom run to continue. But for now, who can I host? Mayhem's on live. Alright, I'll send you over to him. I hope y'all like Apex and stuff.